Boa Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream today. I don't get to say this that often. 29th of February 2020. It'll be another 4 years if I'm still streaming, I hope, by then, until we say that again. But welcome, everyone, to this leap year special stream as we're approaching 40,000 subscribers. Great to see you all here in Brazil. We're going to be doing 2 sectors today. We're going to be starting off in Santos Dumont with its 1300m runway. Somehow we're going to have to blast off from here somehow by some miracle. I've practiced it once. It's tight, but we can do it just about. We'll be going to São Paulo, 45 minutes to, excuse my Portuguese here, the Congonhas São Paulo Airport, and then we'll be doing the return sector again, trying to squeeze back here into Santos Dumont. So it's great to see you all here. Lots of new faces here. Nightbot's finally showed up as well to help answer any queries there. Tesla Guy's here. He says hello there, Flight to Sem. Hello to you. Evening Captain says Greg Scott. FWT says I'll have my Alpaca burgers ready and waiting. Good to hear. Les says Active Sky doesn't recognise the leap date. Hopefully won't have any glitches. My fleet's probably not used to it. In fact, it's the 29th today. We might have some technical issues here. Rico, yeah, should be the opposite destination. We are going to do the return sector. Don't you worry. You'll get to try and watch me land on this 1300m runway in about 2 hours' time. It should be quite interesting indeed. Fantastic. So here we are in the Zebo mod. Back to be good to be back into familiar territory. I was just chatting to Zebo prior to this stream. He'd been busy last night updating to 339.33 some concepts and changes to VNav and how it now looks at the QNH correctly. I was going to use it, but because of the approach into Santos Dumont, we very much need VNav to be working. He said there were some small bugs, and I said, look, I won't use this pre-release version. I'll use the current public version, which is 339.32, and I think Zebo will release 339.33, which I haven't even tested yet after this stream, but I must apologise to Zebo because I did say I'll try it, but I was too chicken to see how we get on. But yeah, here we are in Santos Dumont. If you'd like all the scenery that you're going to be seeing today, because this is completely freeware, it's in the video description below. It's really, really good. It contains pretty much most of the city skyline here. You've got the statue, again, I forget the name, Christ Saviour, the statue's up there. You've got Sugarloaf Mountain here. I've never been to Rio, but this would be a lovely place to visit, no doubt. You've got all the flags here, so it's an excellent freeware scenery. Again, I cannot think off the top of my head who the developer is. It's a bit of a rush at the moment, guys. I only got home about 45 minutes ago, and then I was having issues with SimBrief generating flight plans. I just about managed to get things all started. Will Bewley, what are Nightbot's commands? There's several. What Nightbot does every 5 minutes, it'll remind you in chat what the commands are. I should actually have a command for the command, but I'll generate something like that after the stream for the future. Oh, I forgot to do something else as well. A lot of people keep asking for the X-Vision preset. I forgot to upload that. I've been really busy today, guys. Anyway, let's jump into the Flight Deck to Sim Alpaca 01 aircraft. But yeah, here you go, sorry. Here is the runway, 1,300 metres. I think there's no shorter commercial air operator, which takes off from Santos Dumont in the 737, and Gol Airways operate from here routinely. A couple of things that's worth mentioning: we don't have the short field package option with the Zebo mod, so we might struggle to get in later, but we'll try anyway. So that's my disclaimer, which I'll mention later when we're preparing for the approach. Secondly, we don't have 27k, so I've tried a gross weight which just about works. We're going to go full 26k, flap 25, no engine bleed, and hopefully that'll be sufficient for our performance today. Right, let's get everything started anyway. Battery is on. We need to connect the ground power. No, won't put the chocks on. He would be set otherwise. Let's put the GPU connected on. There we are. We've got some ground power connected. Electric hydraulic pumps can come on, and 6 green lights, landing gear lever is down and checked. Perfect. We'll start the flight leg as well, so imagine we are boarding. Pop that on. We do need to pre-fuel the aircraft, so we'll leave the seatbelt sign off for a little bit of realism. Test the fire system. Excellent. And we've got the fault in op. APU detector in op with overheat detector. That's all looking good there. Cabin attend call we can test. We'll pop up some lighting here. Live time and live weather here in Santos Dumont. We'll brief all of that as per usual later on. It's nice and still weather. I think we'll be departing off runway 20 left. I think the wind's light and variable, but at the moment it's slightly favouring 20 left. But we'll have a look at that later on. We'll get the latest weather update. Flight directors will pop on at this stage. Again, it's slightly out of sequence with the normal flow. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the stop level is. I think it's flight level 80, so we'll pop that in there. This will all set up later. Order brake to RTO, reset. Again, I'm not really following the correct flow here. Stab trim will set, cargo fire test. I can't even remember if I did that. There we are. The Lido's on board. I still never understand what the number one is saying. But, I did try to clarify that previously. That's stowed. Flight recorder test. Stall warning tests. We still need to wait for the AC power to be on for a little bit longer. Mach airspeed warning test is good. Nav a little bit closer to the equator, so it shouldn't take too long here. 6 minutes for the IRS to align. Oh, looking good there. Fantastic. Right, that's the preliminary flight deck inspection all done. Right, let's have a look at the latest weather here in Santos Dumont. So it's not too bad a day, I don't think. Just requesting it. So 11 minutes ago, surface wind is 160 at 9 knots. So we're going to depart off runway 20 left in that. Oh no, 20 right in that case. I was 20. No, sorry, 20 left. I get my numbers muddled up here. 20 left, so it's the southerly runway, and that'll be in a right turn after departure directly to Sao Paulo. It's a few scattered clouds. It's 26 degrees, so nice and warm, and the QNH is 1015. MFR8 will set that to the elevation plus 1,000 feet. I should think there's a unique emergency procedure here, because this departure takes us straight towards Sugarloaf Mountain, which is no good for us. But we'll set the QNH just here. We'll put on the terrain for now, airport as well. Leave VOR set, we'll pop up the main panel lighting, background lighting, and the autopilot flight director system lighting. Cool, let's jump into the FMC then. So I've just updated to the latest nav data airbase literally 5 minutes before the stream, so I hope that update has worked well, correctly. We want Avitab, charts, OFP, and there's the first flight plan. So FMC, yeah, we've got the correct air act then. I think it was 2002, so it looks like that's updated correctly. Engine rating, we could do a 27k bump, but we don't have that in the ZIBO mod yet. We are in Sierra Bravo, Romeo, Juliet. GPS coordinates, GPS left, and that's in routing to Sierra Bravo, Sierra Papa. Which I think this is the most. Sorry, I thought I should have mentioned. This is the Rio de Janeiro-São Paulo air bridge. I think this will be like 120 flights a day between these two airports. It's incredibly busy. I think it's one of the busiest domestic sectors in the world, apparently. So Alpaca 01's the call sign. Captain Borg says, "Good evening, everyone. I'll try and catch some of your queries later." Runway 20 left, we said will be for our departure. It's at India Hotel 1 Charlie, which is. It doesn't matter which runway you depart from, you can use either. And transition, what's the first waypoint? So it's like in Italy, we've got these transitions. Have we got an UMBAD transition? We do. Let's select UMBAD. Not much to type in here. Upper Zulu 44 to Pagog. Now, bizarrely, Pagog is after Comgu. So usually you get the last waypoint, which is the start of the star at a lot of airports in Europe. But Pagog is actually after Comgu, so I think to make this work you have to go. We're expecting ILS Zulu 17 right today. There, very short runway there too as well. It's 1,800 meters, and I think we're going to have to go Comgu 3 Alpha via Pagog. Do I put Comgu as well? There's transitions galore. Let's just check how that looks on the ND for any route discontinuities. Well, apologies if anyone actually flies this sector in real life and have completely screwed up the entry here, but I think we're okay. We'll activate and execute it anyway. It looks about right, all joined up together. Looking okay. Right, so I think the routing's all in. We'll do the performance shortly, but let's just load up the performance calculator here. So we want fuel weight and balance, payload. So we're going to use 100 passengers today. any heavier, we're going to struggle to get off, even though we've got light fuel load. But 100 passengers, I think it worked quite nicely. So we're going to put 100 passengers, enter. That's 8.4 tons based off the standard masses of 84 kilos per adult. And fuel-wise, we look at the flight plan. I don't want to go too crazy with this because we do not have much runway. So, looking at the weather in Sao Paulo, it's fine. It's 9,000 meters, overcast, and 2108. So I think we'll stick with standard fuel. So we'll put 4.6 tons of fuel on board. Not a huge amount, but it is a short flight. So we'll go 4.6. Enter home, ground services, and cool the fuel truck. So there we are. We should be getting some gasoline in, or Jet A1 I should say. There we are. So we are fueling up quite nicely. Sandeep Singh says try maximum zero fuel weight. You must be having a giraffe. Absolutely no idea that's gonna work out of here. 1300 meters, not without any special modifications. Someone asked me, what's the difference between the Boeing short field performance? The Boeing short field performance, there's not many differences. The way the flaps and leading edges extend are a little bit differently, so you get a slight delay when you get the leading edge flaps. You get kind of like these blended slots on the flaps as well. The speed brakes have a higher angle. I think they're twice as high when they deploy. The time between when you land, between approach idle and flight idle changes. What it all essentially equates to is the ability to stop at a shorter distance compared to a standard one. It's not a huge amount, but it is enough usually to get you into airports like this. You're not American, are you? You say petrol, not gasoline, says Tesla Guy. Absolutely. Clyde Gershon says fake pilot. Oh, busted, guys. You found out I'm not actually a real pilot. My partner was actually joking the other day. Maybe I should walk in and say I've been fooling you all for how many years has it been doing this now? 3 years? Lol, I think I'm going to say to that. Right, so yeah, performance will do now. So 0 fuel weight's loaded, 51.5. Gross weight, 55.4 tons. So yeah, 20 tons below what we can actually lift, but we need not to be any heavier than that today. Reserves for this flight plan are some of these two on page 2. So alternate, I think SBGR is the main international airport in Sao Paulo, so if we have any issues we'd go there. It's very close. Look, only need 989 kilos. So some of these two, let's call it 1900, let's call it 2 tons. So if we get down to 2 tons, we'd have to think about diverting. Cost index, I'll stick with our usual 30. We're going to be cruising at 30,000 feet today. We're very light. It'll only take us about 10-15 minutes to get there, so you can disregard the fact the trip's a little bit low. We'll execute that. Usually wait. Top of climb wind. I did finally manage to get the flight plans generated about 3 minutes before the stream started. And whilst the video was starting in, I was quickly loading the flight plans in the background. So top of climb at 30,000 feet. You can see it's 311 at 52, which we can punch in there. ISO deviation is 14 degrees. And the transition altitude will leave at 7,000 feet. Performance we've done 100.3 for the N1 with the bleeds off, so that's going to be a lot of the thrust for departure. Takeoff will be flap 25, and the CG. Where is it again, Zebo? It is under fuel weight and balance, performance takeoff. That's not working yet, but it is coming. Payload 17.8 is the current CG, so we'll use that one. 17.8 gives us a trim of 4.5 units to set. There we go. So FMC is loaded. Performance is done. Going up here to the upper overhead panel. Yaw damper can come on. Fuel pumps can come on. No fuel in the centre tank. Cabin utility IF and galley powers all on. Seatbelt signs can come on because the fueling is done. Window heat can come on. Electric hydraulic pumps are off. Trim air can come on. We'll put these on auto because we'll get the APU started shortly. Climbing up to 30,000 feet. The elevation in Sao Paulo, I didn't make a note of this, I think it's quite high. 2,600 feet, or 2,650. We're at sea level here. So that is set. Steady on here. Right, let's have a look at this SID. So we'll close that and we'll go to Avitab Airport. There we are. So, runway 20 left. It's the slightly longer of the shorter runways, 1323 meters. So runway heading is 200. And I think it's an RNAV sit, so what I'm going to just do here, yeah, it's just put the runway heading and courses to 200. So we're going to push back here, stand Romeo 11 to face north, taxi out Alpha, and then we'll cross runway 20 right. We're going to use every single inch of this runway, so we're going to do a nice tight turn. Now, I did actually look at a video of a Gold Airways flight taking off from here. It's quite a unique procedure they have. They actually hold on the brakes, go to 40%, Toga, let it spool up to 70% with the brakes on, and then they release the brakes because they don't want to waste the runway here. But yeah, not somewhere where you want to have an engine failure. Well, you don't want to have an engine failure anywhere, but it's particularly on a short runway with high thrust. So that's it. The SID then. It's the India Hotel 1 Charlie RNAV departure. It's applicable for both runway 20 left and 02 right. RNAV 1 is required. Maintain VMC until 2,500 feet, which is 10k today. Do not pass the Rio de Janeiro bridge. I think that's if you're going in the other direction. We want point 2. That is applicable to us. Watch Sugarloaf Hill. 2 miles from runway 02 threshold. I think it was saying watch it, so basically don't fly into it, which is pretty useful information for you, really. If you don't have GNSS, you can fly it. The following DME will need to be operative, so you need DME for these 4 stations. But essentially, we're going to climb straight ahead. 2,500 feet, track 161 to EVSOB. We're then going to go to RASA 315, which I think is on standby. There we are. So we'll put that on, turn up the panel lighting so it's a little bit clearer for us. And ADF is coming on, and ADF is coming on there. So that is all set after RASA outbound 279, November Mike 436 to unbanned. It's all getting there. Tom Ludson, please check turn movement whilst taxiing in the turn. I think that was what you were trying to ask me on Facebook. You say you left me a message, Tom. Please check turn movement whilst taxiing turn. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'll check what you're trying to get me to check, or try and remember to. Thanks, Tom, anyway, for the donation. We'll have a look. So, any stop levels here? I think there is. That RASA, the NDB, 5,000 to flight level 80. So yeah, I think we put 80 in here. We did. RASA, we're just going to put in. Yeah, we've got 80 below, so there is that restriction set. And then it all looks to be coded correctly. No problems. Plan. Yeah. Oh no, that's for the arrested arrival. So there we go. Ooh, a little blip here. I hope the ZIBO MOD LNAV deals with that quite nicely. But we've got the nice curved lines anyway. EVSOB, India Hotel. Yeah, 436 220 above, and then unbanned. So it looks like it's all coded correctly. Obviously, in a multi-crew environment, everything is checked with the other pilot. You do your routing information, check your instrumentation, do your emergency briefs, check the performance with your loading document. Of course, in a desktop simulator, we kind of take a gamble, make sure, we kind of hope that everything's all set correctly, but that's the way it is. Right, we'll get the APU started. I haven't had a single opportunity to look at chat. Thank you all very much for your patience, and then I'll try and answer some questions whilst we are waiting. Thank you very much, Q8 Pilot. Oh, he's come in with another donation, 50 quid. Well, thank you very much. Love your streams, Captain. Keep it up. Q8 Pilot, for those of you who don't know, he is not only once donated before, but he is making. We had made plenty of content for flight sim users. Especially at X-Plane, he had lots of content. For those of you who don't know, please go check him out. I'm subscribed to him. He's taking a break from flight simming. I hope Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 re-energizes his need to come back to the community. But thank you again for your incredibly generous donation there. It's very, very kind. And yeah, I'll PM you after the stream to say thanks. And please keep me posted if you're going to come back. I'd like to know. Very, very kind. My goodness. Right, APU's available to come on the bus. That reminds me, we need to do a flight to... I think I know where you're from, Q8 Pilot, but we must go to your neck of the woods. But APU's on the bus. We get rid of the GPU. And that is disconnected. We're looking okay. I think we're ready for the pushback now. We've briefed everything. We've briefed the push, the taxi, the engine start. We'll talk about bleeds off takeoff as well, and some of the threats associated with short field performance. But yeah, it's going to be a very busy takeoff for me. Lots to do, plenty going on. I've got to set V2 at 132 knots. Awesome. And they're quite short flights as well, so there'll be limited scope for questions, but I will try and do what I can. Let's get the better pushback organised as well. Retract the air stairs and close all the doors. There we are. Close, close, close. All good. Wait for the lights to extinguish. We don't start pushback until obviously all the doors are closed. Let's get better pushback organised. Ground services, better pushback. Pre-plan. There should be something there because I have practiced this sector.
Plan acknowledged. Please call me through the menu when you're ready.
I will. Thank you very much, Positive Rate, for another donation. That is Cadence in Discord. Thank you very much. How many likes for an RTO on Takeoff? Loving the stream as always. Thanks a lot, Positive Rate. Also has a YouTube channel. Please check him out. RTO, what was the V1 here? I mean, it won't take this into account any issues with short field performance because I don't have much data for it, but you can see it's pretty slow. I'm confident we'd stop at 118 knots because of the amount of thrust we have and the weight. We're going to get to that speed very quickly. Right, so request pushback. There we go.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
He even sounds Portuguese, Brazilian himself. So my partner is from Portugal, and she was helping me try to pronounce some of the airport names because I have a very English voice. I cannot pronounce anything else for love nor money. So I'll try my best. I apologise if I offend anyone that's Brazilian or Portuguese speaking today. Right, let's have a look at some of the chat because I have been busy here. QFI said, thank you very much. You're most welcome. I hope you're enjoying the stream anyway. Daniel D, so why 2 minutes ago he said that he isn't, he joked, I hasn't listening. I think some people are asking if I'm a real pilot. I get that every stream. Yes, I do fly for a European operator. I don't disclose who it's for. And I have been flying the 737 for about 8 years. I'm off on a seasonal contract, so I've just taken quite a bit of time off. I'm back to work in 3 weeks' time. Very excited.
Closed, ready to connect.
Bowie Boy says I work for Thomas Cook. It's quite difficult. But I wouldn't even if you kept asking, I wouldn't tell you who I worked for. Phone news, you would have an assumed temperature of 38 degrees with bleeds off. Or I'm just going to go full whack today, phone news. I probably could derate it slightly or perhaps get away without doing a bleeds off, just full 26k, but I'm not 100% sure. I've got no accurate performance calculator, so I'm giving it everything we've got in the Zebo mod here. CFM 56s. Yes, Ace, they're the engines used, which have been answered by many users already.
Tow is now connected and bypass pin is secured. Please release parking brake.
Right, let's do the before start checks below the line. So that's on, and transponder is out, off. So the line, air conditioning packs are off, anti-collision light is on, parking brake is set, and transponder's out, off. We've been cleared, push and start, release the parking brake, off we go.
Starting pushback now, and you may start your engine.
My partner's actually here. Anthony, I'm here. Cup of tea in 45 minutes, we go, miss. Ooh, I'm in trouble. Oh dear. Right, anyway, we're pushing back. When we do the before taxi float, it'll be slightly different because we're doing a bleeds off configuration. So it's really important that you do this carefully because you don't want to misconfigure the aircraft because you might actually need that extra performance to get off safely. And once you're airborne, it's again equally important to reconfigure the aircraft to make sure the aircraft is pressurized. I'm going to get myself in trouble here. Awesome stuff. Right, let's get our engine started. Starting engine number 2. Oh, I missed the Zebo mod. I have Tesla in the sector. It performs exemplary with all the restrictions. It really was good. Right, so N2. Where's oil pressure? Oil pressure's here. N1. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit late, but 25%'s coming in. See, look at the chat banter going off here. No domestics on the live stream, please. Hey, she could just pull the internet cord. I'd be in trouble then. Please don't, please don't, please don't. Right, there's starter counts.
Please set parking brake.
There we go. And
Connecting tow. Please stand by.
24632 is stable. Starting engine number 1. So I do have Ortho 4XP for this entire sector. However, the airport had its own custom mesh, so it's actually given me standard explained scenery around the airport, but we do get some Ortho en route. There was a fix, but it was quite a complex fix. I didn't actually have time to look into it. There we go. So yeah, when we put the start lever to idle detemp, we have to try and check. It's very difficult in a desktop simulator, but we check the spar valve, make sure it goes from dim to bright and on. If there's any issues with that, we have to go back onto stand. That was a Boeing bulletin a few years back.
Stow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on your left, sir. See you next time and have a safe flight.
Obrigado. I only know that's about my Portuguese existed. Que tenga bom dia, but that's Spanish, not Portuguese. Bom dia, bom dia. Right, where's he gone anyway? There he is. So we'll make sure he shows us the bypass pin. Someone said I missed the donation. Oh my goodness, my apologies, Valeria Souza. You donated $2. Thank you very much. The back flight I want to see landing at Santos Dumont. Sorry I missed your donation. Yes, we are doing the return sector to Santos Dumont. I will not be buttering it here. It'll be 400 feet per minute. No issues. I have no issues with smashing it down. I need to here, otherwise we're in the sea. Right, it's all shown. We are now going to do the before taxi no engine bleed flow. Now, my operator, this is performed by the captain. The FO reads the checklist. It's really important that you do this correctly, otherwise the aircraft won't be correctly configured. So the first thing we do is put the generators on. Now usually you turn the APU off, but we actually want to leave the APU running because we want to pressurize the aircraft with the APU initially. So APU stays on in this case. Start switches go to continuous. Probe heat is on. And next is the engine and wing anti-ice. Well, wing anti-ice you can't use because the engine bleed's disconnected, but you can use engine anti-ice still because that directly takes bleed air from the engine straight into the cowling, so you could use it if needed. Now this is important. Right pack switch goes to auto as usual, but you close the isolation valve switch. Left pack switch goes to auto. Engine number 1 bleed air switch off, APU bleed on, and engine number 2 bleed air switch is off. Now this disconnects, importantly, the engine bleed, so we have more thrust from the engines, and the APU is pressurizing the left pack, and this can provide pressurization up to, it's off the top of my head, it's a limitation, I should know, I think it's 18,000, or, I should know that, off the top of my head, I'll need to double check, it's been such a while since I've looked at the manual, but yeah, by the time we have the engine bleed reconnected, we won't even be at 10,000 feet, but this does provide some form of pressurization. So that is set. We have full engine bleed now. Flap 25 for departure. So 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 25. Don't have to worry about that issue in real life. But in a desktop simulator, count your clicks. Make sure you have the flaps correctly configured. Do the control check as usual. So 4 forward, 4 back, left centre, right centre. Rudders, full left centre, full right centre. There's the recall. Blank the lower DU, and that's it. The aircraft is now configured for the engine bleed no engine bleed departure. It's giving us as much thrust as we can produce at this temperature, 100.3 N1, and that, I hope, will be enough to get us off this incredibly short 1300 meter runway. Right, well, imagine we got our taxi clearance. So if you remember rightly, nice and easy. Today we're going to taxi straight ahead, Alpha, and line up for runway 20 left. So we can release the parking brake, do a config check. There we are, no takeoff configuration warning horn, and let's make our way to Sao Paulo. I forget the name of this very famous bridge as well. I have no idea what the preferred departure is here, or what is the most prettiest departure. As I said, I practiced this sector yesterday, but I did actually depart off runway 02. But you need every knot of headwind in this case. On we go. And there is the Sugarloaf. Gooseboy, how long will this flight be? 45 minutes. It was yesterday. Can't be too far off. It's very difficult to taxi from this view. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I practiced this landing into Santos Dumont yesterday. I got a wasted. It said wasted on the landing rate calculator. It was very hard, but I didn't go off the edge of the runway, importantly. Tesla guy, I'm pretty sure I need G90s to get out of here, Captain. Well, I think this will be fine at this weight, but we'd struggle to fit some G90s on this aircraft. Oh, Mario. All uniform, including the funny headset hair, gets a good one. Because I have thinning hair, when I wear my headset, my colleagues call me headset hair because it gets all flat. So when I finish flying to go stand in the cabin post-flight and say goodbye to passengers, I have to really scruffy my hair up, otherwise I have this flat bit. I just put the engines on top of the wings. Yeah, there's a crazy Learjet that had engines on the top of the wing, and wasn't there a British or an American fighter that they put engines on the top somehow? And it actually was quite efficient in a way, but I don't think it's practical. Perfect. So, approaching the whole point just here, we'll do the before taxi check. Let's make sure we're completely correctly configured for departure. As we will need every inch of runway here. So we'll start rattling off the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked, flaps we have 25 and 25 green lights, stab trim set for departure, which is 4.5 units I think it was. Yeah, 4.5 units which is set. Takeoff briefing, the packs are an auto but the engine bleeds are off as discussed and it's correctly configured. V-speeds are set for departure. We've got 118, 119, 132 set on the MCP. We're flying the India Hotel 1 Charlie, so we're going to climb straight ahead, make a left turn, I think it's 2,500 feet, and a right turn inbound to the NDB India Hotel, and then we're going to go westbound, climbing to flight level 80 initially. We'll use NADP, let's go NADP 2 here. I have no idea what the correct NADP is, but we'll engage the autopilot at 1,000 feet, and then bug up and retract the flaps on schedule. That's it. Short runway we discussed. We're going to stand on the brakes and then spool up the engines to 70% as goals seem to do, as I watched on YouTube. And that should be fine. Right, let's do the before takeoff checklist now. For the rest of it, just got an update on the wind. Yes, it's still favouring 20 left, so it's 160 at 9. So pop these lights on. Now nav auto throttle, weather radar's on, strobes can come on. I think Zebo told me if I do this, it triggers the cabin to tell them that they're secure, and this can go to TAR8. Oh, we're squawking 2000.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Perfect.
Approaching 20 right.
Excellent. We've got 20 left, but yeah, Zebo has done a quick update. He's actually updated this to make sure the correct rotary knob now does the correct number here. I got a message from someone saying the transponder knobs aren't correct. They're setting the wrong numbers, so now they do correctly set the correct right numbers. Only how many likes? Yeah, I feel like I should have more likes. Exactly. Thanks, Dougal, for riding, everyone. 621 people. I haven't got 621 likes, so if you do enjoy the content, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. If you enjoy watching a 737 captain trying to fly a desktop simulator, and if there's any day that we're going to go off the end of the runway on takeoff, this is the day. I've practiced it once, and let's say I've lowered the amount of passengers we have by about 50. It didn't work out very well. Right, it's every single inch of this runway. Don't want any runway behind me. This is my flying instructor used to say when I did my PPL. So
On runway
undershot
20
it slightly, but
left.
I'll fix that up during the takeoff roll. That was a rubbish lineup, right? That is the worst lineup you'll ever see. My apologies, I usually nail that. Right, so I'll tidy it up using rudder, but I don't want to waste runway space up lining up or anything. But we'll see what goes on. Right, are you ready, guys? We're going to stand them up to 40. I've not tested this with 100 passengers, so could be anything. Right, let's go up to Toga, wait till 70%, and then we'll release the parking brakes. Here we go, Toga.
On runway 20
right,
left.
releasing the brakes,
On
off we go.
runway 20 left.
Right, 100.3, takeoff thrust is set, indications normal.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1 rotate.
That's much better than yesterday. Rotate. Yeah, look, not much runway here, and we're airborne.
Positive brake.
Oh, the gear up. That is super tight.
Terrain.
Yes. I feel like... Why are the flight directors not commanding a left turn? I feel like I should be turning now.
Terrain.
I've got to go towards Sugarloaf.
1,000.
Okay, I'm going to bug up manually because if I engage the autopilot, it's going to turn me towards Sugarloaf. I'm turning manually there. Right, there's V2 plus 15. We select flap 15. There we are. We're now going in the correct direction. Flap 5 at the 5 bug. See, it's very quickly accelerating now. Flap 1. And we can even select flaps up. Set the timer. Thank you very much. Just add a minute. Right, there we are. Pitch on to the flight directors. There's the autopilot, Command A. Thanks, Cole, for highlighting it. You guys like to follow my flaws. 27 degrees, definitely don't need engine anti-ice. Right. Flaps are up. We can select VNAV, and we're coming to flight level 80, so we'll set standard. Passing 37 for flight level 80. I'm going to go vertical speed because I want to accelerate to 250 and take my time to complete the after takeoff no engine bleed flow, because it's paramount of importance that you configure the aircraft correctly, otherwise you're going to run into issues. So let's do the after takeoff no engine bleed checklist. So the first thing is the engine number 2 bleed air switch comes on. We now turn the APU bleed air switch off. In the real aircraft, we then get a pressure bump on the cabin altitude rate of climb, which isn't modelled, and then you put the engine number 1 bleed air switch on, isolation valve switch to auto, and there you can see the aircraft is now correctly configured for 2 engines with the bleed, and we can now complete with the rest of the flow. So next up is, again, you carefully check the air conditioning and pressurization system, which is all working nicely. It's set, gear to up and off, water brake to off, start switches to off, and then that's it. After takeoff checklist is complete, you can release the cabin. I've got to turn the weather radar on as well. Look, bad, I'm out of practice today. There we go, fantastic, we're all configured, climbing nicely to flight level 80, and we can continue our climb up to our cruise level, which today is flight level 300. So Alpaca 01, cleared climb, flight level 300, VNAV, and we'll need to out-intervent because there was a restriction at 80. There we are, up we go. APU off, thanks, testing you guys. And that's why you take your time. I'm not reading any checklist here. My operator, the pilot monitoring me, physically reading this checklist from the manual, making sure that each switch is carefully in the right place. But yeah, the APU should have come off. But yeah, that's why there's 2 of us. The pilot flies the airplane. The pilot monitoring will be solely doing this checklist with radio, not being distracted by anything else. Oh, yeah, I know, they saw it in the chat. How did you know to turn the APU off?
I read it.
Oh, you read it. Yeah, APU's off. Thanks. I've got my other eye on it. Okay. See you later. Okay, you can see we're climbing like a bat out of hell because we're incredibly light. That's completely normal, so you can sort of accept that rate of climb. Passing 106 of flight level 300. We'll do the pre-cruise checks. So fuel 4 pumps. Lights can come off. APU is off. So actually, as part of my pre-cruise checks, we actually check that the APU is off and on. So I would have actually spotted it there, and then you would also, oh, that's actually a bit of a reminder. If I've got the APU running, have I remembered to configure the panel? So that's why we always check if the APU is off at 10,000 feet of my operator. So there's always lots of course, safety nets or gates here. Pressurization, we can check. PSI is good. Rate of climb, auto on and off, and set. Nice and smooth. Seat belts can go to auto. Recall. There we are. The pre-cruise checks are all complete.
40,
Happy days.
30, 20.
Thank you very much, Harold Eulery, for the $5 donation. I apologise if I mispronounced your surname there. There was plenty of room left on the runway. Could have carried a few more alpacas. Yes, Harold, you're quite right. Yesterday, I had 50 more passengers, which was about an extra 4 tons. And it was very tight, but albeit my lineup was a bit shoddy, I did use less runway than I did yesterday. Yesterday I used a lot less runway. Oh, sorry, a lot more runway with a lineup, but all looking good here. Thank you very much, Harold. Stuart Walsh, everyone in chat, and Mariana Brompton. Yeah, I'm getting all around berated. It is difficult. I think I'm going to look forward to going back to a multi-crew environment. We've got someone to do half the work. Andrew Berger, you thought it was the flight attendant. Joe Worrell, what landing rate monitor do you use? It's the landing rate calculator. I think it's by Dan Berry. It's in all of my plugins and add-ons are in the video description below. Andrew Sinclair, have 650 pilots monitoring. We do. Smooth flying, why was the APU on? That's because it's providing pressurization to the aircraft as we're doing a no engine bleed takeoff. But now we have it reconfigured for the engines to provide pressurization. Avgeek 2007 climbing like a rocket, absolutely. I've ferried plenty of empty aircraft around. The quickest I've got up to 37,000 feet was 10 minutes, all the way up there. Full thrust, yeah, just over 10 minutes it took to get there. Rates of climb 4,000–5,000 feet per minute, not unusual. Santiago Montoya, what's your field of view? 105 degrees. Tom, reset minima, very good. We can clear that. Oops, helps if I press the right button. Oh dear. Don't want the VSD on. There we go. Race G, hello Captain, I've just subscribed, thank you very much. I don't have any notifications for subscribers. I did when I started streaming, but it was pinging every second and it became quite distracting, so I actually turned it off. But I do appreciate all subscriptions. In fact, I should think during this live stream, we will surpass 40,000 subscribers. I think we're at 39,970 at the start. So I hope, based on how many people usually subscribe on the stream, we'll reach 40,000. And then next week, I will hopefully line up something special for you. Unfortunately, next weekend, I don't think I'll be live streaming because I have a stag do all weekend. It'll be a bit of a bender, I'm afraid. So I don't think I'll have time to stream next weekend. I'll be back Sunday afternoon, evening. I'll see how I'm feeling, but it'll be impromptu. So I might do something Thursday or Friday. But yeah, I want to get as much done before I go back to work in a few weeks' time. Christopher, what actually makes the engine more efficient with no bleeds? Well, if you imagine your car of an air conditioning unit, it's having to draw bleed air, which makes the engine less efficient. If you don't have to take bleed air out the engine, it can provide more thrust. Approximately about 0.8% more thrust. Not much, but it can be enough. Calabrigli, you subscribe too. Thank you very much. Welcome on board. Basso, how do you read metars? Well, if you're wanting to learn to do that, you'll be able to find plenty of decoding information online, but over time you'll be able to realise it quite easily. In fact, if I bring up the metar for Sao Paulo, we'll be able to, I'll be able to talk you through it. Anthony Teal, got a date for the next group flight, boss? No, but around the middle of the month. We'll do one just before I go back to work. Oh no, I don't even know my own codes. Look, SP Metar. Will Bewley, have you ever flown to Iceland? No. There we go. So we'll try and look at this metar quickly before it scrolls up. But the first part here is the date to 29th, 17:20 Zulu, so 28 minutes ago. Then you have the wind, 230 at 9 knots, varying between 190 and 260. 9999 means it's more than 10 kilometers. Scattered cloud at 1300, broken at 3,700 feet. 23 degrees temperature in Celsius, 19 degrees Fahrenheit, and a QNH of 1020. 737 guy, you how are you flying in sim? I want to be a pilot. Fantastic. Work hard, and you will be able to get there. Don't apologise for your spelling. No doubt I cannot spell in your native language. My language skills on the language is terrible. Henrique Viana's greetings from Brazil. Fantastic. Oh, Michael's Bremner, I've asked 20 times, can you fly to Northern Ireland, please? It doesn't get a lot of attention. Yeah, we'll go to Belfast at some point. We're still yet to visit. Pilot Mike's also here. For those of you who don't know, Pilot Mike is a good friend of mine. He is an active 787 first officer for a European airline. Go check him out on Instagram and YouTube. He often pops in here to help during the live streams as well. You're very lucky in the chat to be able to have such a wealth of knowledge. Not much from myself, but Pilot Mike will certainly help you because he's flown 7378 and the Embraer. I've only flown the 73, so if you want to know a bit more about the 73, I'm probably your port of call. Eduardo, nice to see you flying here in Brazil. Yeah, this is Well, Santos Dumont is something I've always had eyed up on, you know, because it's a real challenge to go in and out of, and it's something I wanted to do. So yeah, it's about time we came over here. Thank you very much, Johan Crickle, for joining as a member. Welcome to the channel. You'll enjoy all the exclusive members-only content that all revolves around my private Discord for members only. Thank you very much. Did I not say 787? Sorry, Pirate Mike.
As we go.
He flies the 78 as well. Right, so typically we would select vertical speed to reduce the rate of climb. That's because we don't want to have any TAs or perhaps RAs for traffic affairs feet path. But as you well know, we are avoiding online ATC on public streams due to continuous issues online with trolls. And look at that, we're only 78 miles from top of descent, so very short sector. We'll do an ILS on this one. I promise you we'll be doing an RNAV radius to fix approach into Santos Dumont, which is going to help us out a lot. Thank you very much to another one of my members at Creed 0002, donated £4.30. Thank you very much. Apologies not being active in Discord, currently swamped with real life commitments. Thesis deadline is looming. Wish you a happy return to real life flying. Well, thank you very much. Good luck with getting your thesis in, and whenever you're ready, you always know you're welcome, as all the members are, and we look forward to catching up with you. Thank you very much again for your continued support there. Creed 0002, very kind. Brilliant. What runway are you landing on? We're going to be landing, I think, 17 right into São Paulo. What's the wind at the moment? 2309. Yeah, I think we're going to go 17 right. Quite a short runway, but we'll get things started anyway. Right, so excuse me whilst I jump off chat for a second. Just get rid of this and put our next airport code in. Sierra Bravo, Sierra Papa. 120 aircraft a day do this exact sector. It's incredible. I'm probably exactly right overhead where another aircraft is right now. It would be really cool. Thank you very much to someone else that's just joined as a member. Gabrielle Picarelli, thank you very much. Welcome to the channel as a member. And I hope you'll enjoy all the members exclusive content. Welcome. Welcome indeed. Right, so what do I want? I want arrival. We're going to be flying a Comgu 3 Alpha RNAV arrival. We're then going to be going on to ILS Zulu 17 right. ILS Zulu 17 right, and then we'll just grab an airport chart as well. We want airport. That one will be fine, and we'll just grab any stand. So we're going to vacate. Yeah, ladder 17 right, vacate at Hotel India, and then we'll park up here. We'll depart off 17 right as well. So that's it. Let me just get the FMC loaded with the information it needs. So not much wind here. Oh, there is actually 60 knots. We'll definitely update all the information here. So I will start off a descent page, 240 below 100 is fine. Put 200 and 100 winds in. 303 at 23, so the wind will die down by the time we get to 20,000 feet. Wind at flight level 100, 324 at 3 knots. There's hardly any wind there, but we'll stick it in. Temperature here from ISA at the moment is only 1 degree above ISA, and in São Paulo at the moment it's 23, so that's plus 8 degrees. So you can take the average. Let's call it plus 7 on the ISA. And the I think on the Zebo I need to put 7. The QNH is 1020, so high pressure. Now, what I was hoping to show you today, and I must apologise to Zebo because I chickened out with the update because I knew this one worked fine. When you put the QNH now in future updates, it will allow VNAV to make the changes in its calculation to ensure you're on profile. At the moment, it doesn't. So you'll see when I set the local QNH, I thought it was modelled to a degree, but it isn't. You'll see a jump in your VNAV profile, but there is an update coming to fix that. Our infamous fix rings. Now, we'll put the fix rings in today, as we always do, but it's really useful today because, as I'll brief shortly, you'll notice how the DME for the ILS is not co-located to the ILS, so the DME at the threshold doesn't read 0. I can't remember what it reads exactly, but it's not the same, so it's really... my operator will use these distance rings to help increase situation awareness. It's very useful today. Yeah, we can configure at 4 miles, scattered at 1300. So FMC is loaded. Performance we'll look at a second as well. Thank you very much to Jake P, who, excuse me, has also joined as a member. I'm glad you enjoyed the content, and I hope you will enjoy all the exclusive members-only content as well. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we can actually do the landing performance as well, but let's brief it in order. So, descent page we've populated. We want the charts now. This is all a bit of a rush, guys. It is a short flight, and I want to get it all out of the way, so I'll at least have a few minutes in the descent to answer any questions. So we're coming in via Pagog. Let's go to the FMC. There's Pagog. We've got to be at or below flight level 240. I think that puts us slightly below profile, but we'll comply with all the restrictions on the start today, as there is no ATC. Just get myself into a view where you can see everything. I think that's about right. We're going to go to Pagog, flight level 240 at below, SP007 130 to 8000, that is coded as well. Is ILSOR, no restrictions there. SP002 at or below flight level 90, SP003 at or above 7000, and the actual arrival then, you make a left turn onto a radar heading. Now, it'd be very unlikely you do that unless it's busy, but what we'll do from Comgu, as you can see here on the FNC, we're just going to self-position to Gersu, which is on the extended sense line, and it's perfectly on a 90-degree base leg there, so we're going to cut just inside of 10 miles there. So that's the arrival. The restrictions are in, RNAV based, GNSS is required, and then if you lose your communications there is a procedure there, so not much to explain, all the restrictions are in. Right, let's get rid of that and tune the ILS. So we got 1093 is the active ILS frequency. It's on standby already, so we'll put that as active. Final approach course is 169. 169. Height check at Rennet, so you can see the elevation. Look, it's quite a high elevation, so a bit of a gotcha. You typically expect to be at 10 miles away, 3,000 feet, if you're at sea level. But because we're so high, we'd expect to be around 5,500 feet at 10 miles, or 5,600. So if you're at 3,000 feet at 10 miles, you're about to hit the ground. so always be aware of the MSA, altitude restrictions where you are. So you can see, look, Gersu at 9 miles, we want to be ideally at 4,800, so it's always be aware at high elevation airports what the altitude is of everything there. Minimums are 2,789 feet, which is 200 feet AGL of the runway, so 2789, we need to punch in here. Nearly got there. Take ages. 2, 7, 8, 9. There we are. Thank you very much again, Tom. Alpaca your bags with the return leg. That nice, Tom. We've used that in a live stream before. Alpaca my bags. Very good. Thank you very much again, Tom. And I hope you can make the next group flight, the next Alpaca Airways group flight, which we will get around arranging prior for me going back to work. We'll do it around the 14th, 15th or something. We'll update it accordingly. Thank you very much, Tom, for the donation there. So minimums are set. So we're going to self-position from Comgu. And, you know, I'd expect vectors here, but we'll just go base leg Gersu. Gersu, we're going to intercept the ILS. Now, you'll notice here, look, it just says localizer. It would probably usually say localizer DME. That is because the DME, I don't know how it works, but it's the correct frequency, but the DME is not at the airfield. Here's the DME station there. So at the threshold, instead of it saying 0, it will say 1.2. And that's a real got you. You can see here again, look, M is the missed approach point, which is at the threshold. Look, DME of 1.2. So you'll notice when we're on the approach with the ILS identified, the distance here does not correspond to your threshold. You have to be basically looking at these fixed rings which I put in. The fixed rings are what's in 4 DME. You're not 4 miles away, you're 2.8, which is too tight really to configure unless you're incredibly quick. But you probably bust the landing gate, so yeah, be careful of that one. Pappy's at the left hand side. It's a shallow glide slope. We were discussing that in Discord the other day, 2.9 degrees, and the Pappies are set at what we are on 17 left, so 3 degrees. Now what does that mean? Now if the Pappies are, the angle's slightly steeper here and we're at 2.9, you might notice kind of 3 reds because it's going to put us a little bit lower. than we should do. So it's always a bit of a gotcha there. So make sure you know the angle of the pappies, know the angle of the approach. So yeah, 2.9, slightly shallower. It's going to maybe put us on 3 reds. But that's what you could expect. So yeah, look at the landing distance, 1300 meters. This isn't exactly a long runway either. It's very, very short. So let's actually have a look at the Zebo performance. This will be very interesting when we go back to Santos Dumont. I don't think we'll make it, but that's because we don't have the short field performance option. So how we're not going to bust top of descent, are we? 11 miles. Oh, tight. So let's put this in. So SBSP landing on 17 right. Sorry, not 17 left. Missed approach climb gradient. We'll go. I don't think we can change it yet. No, it's just stuck at 2.5. Dry runway. Wind is 230 at 9. So we'll go with that because it's actually a slight tailwind, perhaps. No, slight headwind still. Temperature is 23 degrees. QNH is 1020. I'm just going to punch in a lower level, guys, so we can start descending. Let's go for 240, which is the next restriction, just in case we're still doing it. So imagine Alpaca 01, clear to descend flight level 240. This is an intense sector, guys. Air conditioning auto, no credit for reverses, won't make any difference on a dry runway. Right, landing weight. We're going to burn 400 kilos between now and then, so 2.6 arrival. 54 tons is the landing weight.
20.
Which I'm just going to punch in here, and I'll say thanks to whoever that was. Stand by. That was Gear Down Unlocked. Thank you very much for the £5 donation there. Great streams, thanks for all your videos, which helped me so much to learn how to fly the 7.3. I have a PPL holder, and I fly Warriors from Blackpool. Awesome, Gear Down Unlocked. Thank you very much for the donation. I flew into Blackpool about 10 years ago when I was doing my hour building, all the way from Fenland. That's where I did my PPL. I remember it was quite exciting because there was a Jet 2737 there. But yeah, awesome stuff. Congratulations. Right, landing performance then. Look at that. So flap 40 order break 3 should be fine. We've got sufficient distance there. In Santos Dumont might be something different. So flap 40, order break 3, short runway, don't want to use flap 30. Second detent reverse, and that I think is everything discussed. I hope that's all understood. I do try and do longer sectors, but this is a very popular flight now, and it's the sector I really wanted to do. So sorry it's all been a bit bam bam bam. I know I talk fast during the streams, especially if you're unfamiliar. I'm talking gobbledygook, and my pace can be a bit off the scale, but it's just to get everything done, guys. You can play this back until your heart's content post stream, and of course I do try get back to any comments. There you go. So all set up. I think we're all good. Any questions, fire away. We've got a few minutes here. Missing our target speed here slightly, so we should be doing 284 knots. And we've got a brief level segment. You can see at flight level 240, it will be level for about a mile, and then we'll initiate our descent to our next restriction, which is 130 below. Lorry Low, you will need an arrestor cable to land at this airport. If you think you'll need an arrestor cable here, I'll need a net of some description to catch us in Santos Dumont before I go for a swim. It's short here, but nowhere near as short as Santos Dumont. You are going to give me so much jip for this landing into Santos Dumont, because I am not going to flare. I'm going to be landing on the touchdown zone. Wing tips are going to touch the runway. Landing rate calculator is going to be upset. It's the only way. I'm not going off the end of the runway in a live stream. Paul Shoesmith, any tips on landing? I always seem to pull up too much on the flare. I will send you a link, my friend, to one of my most popular tutorials, which was how to land a 737. It's 2 years old, this tutorial. Oh my goodness. That was when I was still using FSX. Copy link. I'm just sending it to you right now. Check, close, hold. That's all I want you to learn. Get that into your head, and you'll be landing a 737 in no time. There we are, flight level 240. We can now step down to the next restriction, which was to be at below flight level 130 at SP007. So we can punch that in. And VNAV should again initiate its descent, passing top of descent into the ND. 130, and it'll again very soon initiate that descent. There it goes. Here comes the VNAV profile. Tesla guy, as I asked multiple times, do you ever cruise at flight level 400? Apologies, please be a little bit more patient. I do get a lot of questions going in. Occasionally, yes, when we're very light. 40 to 41,000 feet up to the maximum cruising altitude of this aircraft is possible, and occasionally do it. Joip, where do you get the airport charts? I have an active Navigraph subscription, which uses Jeppesen charts, and they're not to be used for real-world aviation, but they do match their real-life counterparts. We've not even looked outside at this ortho, but it's pretty cloudy today. What's the passengers going to be looking at? Yes, you can see I've got a little bit of ortho down there. It's a shame it's so cloudy. Christian, are you doing the return leg? Yes, we are. Watch your ears, I don't know how loud this is going to be. Not too bad. Plenty of rainforest down there. I have no idea where we are geographically, guys. I've never flown in this part of the world. Bit of an issue with the ortho tile joining there. Just like cracking the earth. Looking very nice. Serum, do you get used to ears popping because of the pressure? Yes, you get to the point where you can always clear your ears. Never an issue. Wacko, what can I play always on my ZX81? You might struggle. Ooh. Always get excited by merchandise purchase. Thank you very much, Stan H, for the comfort t-shirt. He said, I can't read the comment, unfortunately. I'll try and catch up with that later. Thank you very much, Stan. You'll be looking cool, no doubt, in a few weeks' time when that package finally gets yours. Thank you very much indeed. Martin Scott, cheers from Copenhagen. Good luck on the landing. Thank you very much. The luck will be needed for the flight to Santos Dumont, but I won't count my chickens just yet. I still have to get into... let me try and pronounce this. Congonhas São Paulo. Van Holder, what's the most underrated thing that happens during flight training or flying itself? Underrated? Well, I don't know really. What's more boring than I suppose on it? There's not really one I can answer. Pedro Diaz, do you know what the takeoff minimums are in the Jeppesen chart? Well, are you referring to what I'm setting on the MFRA? That's not really on a chart. That's just an altitude at which you'd accelerate in the event of an engine failure, which isn't coded. That's chosen by the operator. I haven't put my water. I need to quench my thirst. Anthony, yes, absolutely. Coxingo, I always do a hard landing in Congonhas. My FPS is always 15 on short fire. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, you need a bit of a beefy PC. Which reminds me, Dougal McTavish is here. Perhaps Dougal will be better informing you, but he is running something called the SimWings project. If you'd like to scroll down in my video description, you'll see in one of the links at the top is something which you can sign up for. And it's essentially something which Dougal's starting, and there's a fund which people can donate to. I've donated myself, and that money will go towards helping someone in the community who perhaps isn't in the best position to be able to get stuff like that. So have a look at that, and maybe someone can help you out there. I'm not sure, but Dougal McTavish, yes, he just shared the link. It's worth looking into. I think in a few weeks, maybe months' time, I'll look into doing something to help promote that a bit more on a stream. But I am doing it at the moment, just mentioning it during the stream for Dougal. But he is the one to ask. He has a Discord as well if you want to share that, Dougal. Please feel free. So, flight level 130. We can now, once we're below there, continue descent to flight level 90 below for SP002. So punch that in. Looks like it's sort of a continuous descent. VNAV's recapturing itself. There we are. It's having a little bit of a wobble. Ah yeah, look, we got a brief level segment at 130. That's fine. We'll maintain flight level 130 and then it, again, will automatically start descending at flight level 90. One of the reasons I'm not testing a pre-release version of the ZIBO mod is because I know this version, the VNAV works really well. It's complying with all the restrictions well, the decels are all coded correctly. It's doing a really nice job. Far better than some payware alternative aircraft which I've flown in the stream. It's the VNAV logic is very good, and he's made some quite fundamental changes to it with the update, which I was like, oh Zebo, do you mind if I don't use that during the stream, because I know it works quite well, and then I'll test it and let you know. But I'm scared of using it today, and we very much need VNAV to work correctly for the approach into Santos Dumont, because it's an RMP approach. It needs LNAV and VNAV. Caleb Wrigley, do you play Infinite Flight? Nope, just X-Plane 11, and I'm testing, like many people are, Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, the alpha. But again, as everyone knows who's in the alpha, there's an NDA to stop you from discussing your thoughts and things about that. Alejandro, evening Captain, 10 checks descending. What's 10 checks, Alejandro? I've got a clue what you're on about. We call it post-cruise checks at pre-cruise checks at Alpaca Airways. Oh, Sirius, try this segment in the 732. This sector would be okay, but I think there is a VOR approach into Santos Dumont, but I've not even looked at it. I'm actually doing the sort of easy approach there. LNAV VNAV sort of takes you to the threshold on this RMP approach, but I think it's the one that everyone flies into Santos Dumont. Good, so approaching the decel, that's to slow down to 250 knots below flight level 100. We did put the seatbelt sign on, didn't we? No, we didn't. A bit late, not an issue. If we're a bit late doing it in the real aircraft, worthwhile mentioning it to the cabin crew. Oops, you know, a bit late with the seatbelts. You know, hurry up with the cabin secure. So the key figures, don't forget. But occasionally you could get distracted by something more important, like flying the aeroplane. Connor Gibson, do 737 regularly fly this route? They do. Goal Airways are operating the 737 on this exact sector every single day. Christian, what does the VCP in your call sign mean? We run a virtual airline for my members, and it's been officially registered, I think, and the VCP represents the Latin word for alpaca, which I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And the reason we have Alpaca Airways is because there's sort of a running theme on my Discord involving alpacas, and the fact that the first time, oh look, you can see, look, we're flying through the localizer on the runway. That's pretty cool. It's a running theme of alpacas, because the first ever time I showed a picture of me was with an alpaca. I was walking some with my partner, so yes, that's the story in a nutshell. So a little bit early decelerating here. We might have to add a bit of thrust, or allow the aircraft to add a bit of thrust. But we're turning sort of downwind here towards SP003. We made the 90 below. Oh no, we haven't made the 90 below restriction. We're going to struggle with that now. Oh dear. I've not been monitoring my descent here. But yeah, we should be at or below flight level 90 here. Just about going to do it, actually.
1,000 to go.
I apologise, Zebo. Your mod's doing fine. We can now descend to... Let's go down to 6,000 feet. So you can see I've lost all the ortho now, because the airport has its own custom mesh. So we've all gone back to default, which is a bit of a shame. But it does have a lot of the city skyscrapers and stuff when we get closer. Right, 6,000 feet is set. We can now select the local QNH, which is 1020. It's going to update VNAV. That is changing soon. Passing 9,200, 6,000. Just need to set the standby altimeter and do the post-cruise checks. So, fuel for pumps, lights, logo's off, APU's off, pressurization is set, seatbelts on, Rico. Oh, check's complete. So yeah, we've got a slight restriction here. So you can see, look, it's leveling, maintaining 9,000, but if I push it out into vent, it should do 1,000 feet per minute now. Get low on profile, and then it will recapture it very shortly. Have we reached 40,000 subscribers yet? I'm going to check. Ooh, close, guys. I have 39,994 subscribers. We're 6 subscribers away from 40,000. Very exciting. And I will do something for 40,000, I promise you. And below, should the engines be on continuous on descent and approach? No, we put them on continuous on final, or if we require engine anti-ice. There we are, so we're now descending to be at above 6,000 at Congonhas. I'd expect to be on vectors now in reality, but we can get rid of the star chart. The aircraft has performed the approach in an exemplary manner. Yes, everyone's watching, subscribe. Yeah, help me get to 40,000, that would be pretty cool. How many likes are you on as well? We managed to get 757 likes at the stream live as we're flying the 757. I suppose we should go for 737 likes as we're in the NG, but we are every other stream, so... Oh, look at that, no wind. 20 degrees, very warm out there, so we don't need engine anti-ice. All looking good. Janice Vries, what does... oh no, sorry, Tolly, what does continuous actually do? It provides continuous ignition, in this case the right igniters to the engine, reduces the risk of a flame out. But there is flame out protection if the engine does flame out. It should fire the igniters automatically. It has an auto relight feature. Oh, I reached 40,000 subs already. I probably had a bit of spike in subs. I've actually closed the window now. Right, so again, approaching the decel. It is struggling just to maintain that target speed of 240, so it just might jump up to FMC speed here to try... Yeah, it's going to try and get to 240 now, but watch, as we approach decel, it'll bug up to the up speed, and then it will reduce thrusting, and there we are. That's correct. That is the correct behaviour of the mod. It should just perhaps maintain the target speed a bit better. But that behaviour you just noted is completely correct. Right, so we'll fly this procedurally. Let's imagine we can go down to Gersu 4,800 or below, which I think puts us quite nicely onto the approach. So much for the lovely scenery, but it is very cloudy here. We have hit 40,000. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. It's awesome when I hit milestones, and I will get something out there special. Maybe for Thursday or Friday. We'll do a unique thing, something we haven't done before. Probably a different aircraft. A special aircraft, one that's incredibly difficult to fly. It'll end up crashing. I think this would have been a good 40,000k subscriber flight anyway. Awesome, so turning on base leg here, good point I think now to select flap 1. Open the speed window, we can use VNAV all the way down, it's coded correctly. In and out the clouds. A321, Tupolev, these are all aircraft I don't want to fly. Cool, so yeah, apologies for the default scenery here, but we should have lots of big, there we are, there's the airport, look, you should see plenty of buildings on approach. Concorde, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Right, let's go flap 5. Inbound to Gersu. This should put us quite nicely onto the ILS if VNAV's done everything correctly. Look at that, glide slope's coming in nicely. Zebo, you absolute legend. It just, oh, I cannot stress this enough. You've got a freeware aircraft of, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's very, very good. I'm just going to go vertical speed to fine tune onto the glide slope. That's exactly what I'd be doing in real life. Very nice. Continuous descent all the way. Stuart Payne, thank you very much. £2. Appreciate that. Congratulations, Captain. Thank you very much, guys, and Stuart, for highlighting the monumental achievement of this channel. Really, I cannot thank you all enough. We could step down as well, otherwise we'll level off out acquire.
1,000 to go.
Let's go down to 4,000. That's what ATC I think would typically clear us to, and arm approach. Yes, I can't say enough, guys. I mean, you're very grateful, I'm sure, the content, but without you guys, you'd have no one to watch it to the fact that 40,000 people have subscribed to enjoy the content and come on board during the live streams is really cool, so thanks a lot. Right, let's not get so sentimental now. Course is a 169, sorry, runway heading is 169, matching the course. Missed approach altitude, 6,000 feet. Is now set. We are now fully established on the ILS. It's looking quite nice and clear, I think. I think we'll disconnect and hand fly this one for a bit of fun. It's been a while since we've done that. Nice short runway as well, no pressure. Disconnect the autopilot auto throttle. And remember what I told you, this DME is not co-located. 6 DME, it's 1.2 DME off, so we're already about 4 miles away. Thank you very much to Dougal McTavish as well. Thank you very much, £10 on my members. Also my friend, huge congrats on 40k, just keep doing what you do. Thank you very much, Dougal. I'm going to concentrate on the flying now and close Streamlabs. Thank you very much. Right, gear down, flap 15. Match the speed, landing checklist of flaps. Oh, this is so hard. Single pilot start switches, continuous. Recall is checked. Speed brake is hard, green light. Landing gear, down through your auto brake is set. We can now select flap 40. Match the speed. No idea what the speed is. Trim. So flaps, we've got 40 green light. Landing lights, the manager on. Checks are complete. There we are. So, we're quite light today. We've got plenty of performance available for landing, so I don't need to smash it down on the numbers here like I will do in Santos Dumont in approximately an hour and a half's time. But it is short enough.
17 right.
Checked. No idea what the wind is, but I can see on the ND we've got a 10 knot wind coming in from the south-southwest. So it's a little bit of left rudder will be needed to decrab, but not much. What was that? Oh yeah, well, the 757 last stream, was it minus 50, minus 60? I don't think we've ever done minus 100 in the ZIBO mod. I think it's slightly upslope as well, here. So, just slight crab, but you don't touch the rudder until you're in the flare, at about 20 feet.
50,
Thank you very much to whoever that is.
30,
I will look at that quite shortly.
approaching minimum.
Checked.
Minimums.
Continue. So looking at the pappies now on the outside.
50, 40, 30.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Just hold that attitude. A little bit of left rudder coming in. Where is that runway? Come on. Oh, nice! Minus 92. Speed brakes up.
Remaining.
Reverses. That's very acceptable. 100 knots.
80 knots.
80 knots. 60 knots, idle reverse. Oh, let's see if we can make this exit. Manual braking, stow the reverses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Congonhas, São Paulo. We've made it. And another buttery landing and flight deck to sim service. Lovely jubbly. Right. Flaps up, speed brake stowed. And we'll continue the right turn, find ourselves a nice little stand. We've been putting off a lot of butters recently. Oh god, I'm gonna go in a real aircraft in a few weeks' time. I'm gonna try and land it like I do on my little joystick here. Awesome. Right. Let's do the cleanup then. Stand by. Trim we set to 4 units as we're doing the return sector. We definitely want to make sure that is set. Auto brake to off. This is usually done by the first officer. Turn the weather radar off before you guys start yelling at me. This can go to 100 knots. This to 6,100. Oh, I'm going to look forward to taxiing again, because all I have to do when I taxi in is turn the weather radar off and the landing lights. It's the FO that does the rest of this. Oh, look, I forgot to put the start switches on continuous. Or did I just turn that off now? No idea, and I'm probably on the grass now. Oh, look, don't look at me, alright? Look at me trying to do the cleanup. I'm just off the taxi line. Something didn't have to go right today. Let me just make my way back whilst I continue the cleanup. My joystick's really sensitive on the tiller, so if I have any too much tiller on, it turns quite aggressively. But you can watch the replay, you can remind yourselves when it's turning like that. I was just doing the cleanup, nothing to see. Right, back on where we should be. Ape, you can come on. Look at it, here comes the banter. Here comes the ground turning I told you about. Is that what you were referring to, Tom? In fact, it just turns. Ooh. I had a little bit of turn because I had my joystick on. I haven't neutralised it. It's pretty straight. Tesco fail of the year 2020. Hey, we've got to land in Santos Dumont in about an hour. That will be the fail of the year. Harish, how do you use idle reverse? I use a Cytec yoke that comes with the throttle. It always stows the reverses. So what I do, I have a command on my keyboard to activate the reverses, but I use shift and slash, and then you could just use the thrust on your peripheral to basically set the thrust you want. So I just advance it and then go back to idle, then press shift slash to slow them. It works really, really well. Right, we'll just go. I'm just going to go on the air bridge on the end here, guys. Let's go stand number 1 for Alpaca 01. Coxon, please say Congonhas. Congonhas. I'll get Marianne in here to help me pronounce it. She's no doubt going to do it perfectly. Right, let's take stand number 1. Get the APU on the bus. Ooh, coming to a stop. Need to add thrust. I think it's a bit uphill here. Nice slopes here, well modelled in this freeway airport, which again I cannot remember who did it, but if you look at the video description below, you'll find the link to this airport. Very easy to install. Just drag it to your custom scenery folder, and you've got a very good quality freeway airport. Right, it says Boeing 738. Usually FO would shut down engine number 2 at this stage. We'll wait until we're on stand. Oh, come on. Oh, we're so close. Stop. There we are. We made it. Perfect. Right, parking brake is set. 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sao Paulo. Local time, 3 hours behind, so it's 3:26 in the afternoon. Another on-time Alpaca 01 buttery service to add to the schedule. And we've got the air bridge here as well. Awesome stuff. There we are. Engine spooling down. Good stuff. Why do you never say the G is Congonhas? I'm going to get a lot of criticism here, I think, for my pronunciation, so I apologise. Tesla guy, should you slow down, mate? Well, maximum taxi speed we use is 30 knots on the taxiway. Technically, that's the apron, so we should reduce it to 15, but it's acceptable. Brandon Postma, strobes off. Fantastic. You spotted the one thing I forgot. I always do that every single live stream, and someone always gets it. Jokes, of course. Thank you very much for voting. I've forgotten the strobes. But yeah, there we are. What else did you guys say? Gary Copper, great landing. Sadly, I tend to receive wasted following my manual landings. Like I've said, I've got to land on this 1300m runway shortly. That could be interesting. Bravo Captain said Littoral Gamers, one of my members. Our guest of the runway is Greasy Now, and the associated Butterfiend comments as per usual. Thank you very much. And it was Positive Rate that donated. Thank you very much again. £2. This is towards Concorde. Palpatine says, do it. Thank you very much. Oh, don't pressure me into getting that aircraft. Oh my goodness. Very, very good. Right, so I think it's time we do the replay. If you're new to the stream, we do the replay. I'll allow you to watch it taxi on stands whilst I have a quick break, get everything set up for the next sector. I'll just close Project Fly here in the background too, which completes the flight. There we are, complete. That should get rid of the overlay for us. I'm still getting used to all of this streaming software. There we are. Flight's completed, and let's cue the replay music. There we are. Right, let's put ourselves nicely on final. I think, there, a little bit further back perhaps. Let's go from about there. Ooh, losing a few frames there. There we are. It was very good, very buttery this one. And on the touchdown zone, very happy. It's good to be back in the Zebo mod. See, there's a little bit of an upslope there. Nice. Here comes the left rudder. Oh, very happy with that. Oh, yes, get in. I'm not going to be doing that into Santos Dumont. Let's just do one more. That was very buttery. A little bit of left rudder. Pointing the right way. Down. I will take that any day of the week. I think we'll have a look from the tower view on that one. Nice. Can't quite see the rudder, but very, very happy with that touchdown. Fantastic stuff. Right, guys, so what I'm going to do is put you in the window view. I'll let you watch the landing from this seat, taxi onto stand. By the time you're back onto stand, I'll cancel the replay, and then we'll carry on with the second sector. So I'll see you guys in about 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Well, guys, I am back. Thank you very much all for your patience. Let's get everything ready for the return sector. So, as I said, this is some freeware airport scenario. I always try to highlight everything during the stream. Let me try and get this guy right, because he has several Brazilian airports, so no doubt most of you have heard of him if you're from Brazil. AX Scenery, that was it, by AX Plane. So yeah, you can get all the airports here. I think he made the one in Santos Dumont as well. Well, he did make the one in Santos Dumont, so I downloaded it from the same site. But yeah, it's really nice. I don't know, I'm guessing it quite matches quite equally the real world counterpart, but it's very, very good for freeware anyway. Pleased with a lot of the X-Plane airports anyway. My goodness, Carl Sankry, coming in again with another very generous donation. He says $40 for 40,000 subs. Congratulations, Captain Carl. My goodness, you're bankrolling my channel pretty much. Thank you very much, Carl, again for your incredible generosity. Everything you do for me as well personally. It's very, very kind, Carl. Thank you indeed, very, very much. And I hope you're doing very well, as well as is your doggo. Oh my goodness, that's kind. Oh dear, very, very nice. Cool, Tesla guy, Captain Canada is live in 20 minutes. Yeah, I think that guy, I've heard of him before. I don't often watch his streams, but I think he streams every single day. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Captain Canada is another X-Plane streamer. I'm sure he says hi to, you know, promotes my channel as well. So I hope he has a safe flight. I've got to get us back to Santos Dumont though, which will be very interesting. So yeah, we'll leave it at the transit state. The pilot monitoring will be doing the walk around here. Pilot flying will be getting everything ready for the next sector. So get the ATIS first. That'll be probably one of the first things I do. Finish the technical log, get the weather. Looking at the latest weather here in Sao Paulo, winds 190 at 11 knots. So it's pretty much not straight down the runway, but it's very much favouring runway 17 right for departure. Oh, sorry, I just forgot to activate Project Fly as well. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. Fly now, and I need to turn on the overlay as well. Excuse me for a second. There we go. So you should have now the Project Fly overlay. So yeah, check the weather. The surface wind here is 190 at 11 knots, 10k, few scatter clouds, 23 degrees. It's a good day. You know, it's a bit cloudy, but nothing to worry about. QNH has dropped slightly, so 1019 is we need to set here. Reset the elapsed timer. MF ray then, again, I have no accurate information regarding performance for this departure, so we'll set 2630. Let's set 3630. That's a nice height at which to accelerate at in the event of an engine failure. So that is now set. So 3630. And we can just pretty much jump straight into the FMC. Actually, before that, we need to get fuel and everything, don't we? And start flight leg. So I'm gonna base it on the same amount of passengers, at 100 passengers in and out. It should be good for a dry runway. For a wet runway, you can forget it. You cannot land this aircraft on a wet runway without having some short field performance or modifications. So if it's wet there, we'll just have to pray. And that's my disclaimer, as I often mention in most of my streams. The guidance I'm doing is I'm by far trying to do it as realistically as possible, but sometimes you have to take little shortcuts to make it work in a desktop simulator. So please, I must stress, if you're a real pilot, do not follow any guidance here. It's purely for entertainment, and oh boy, it can be entertaining. I try and make it to be anyway. So let's have a look at the flight plan for the next sector, generated on the sim brief just prior to the stream. So here it is, 27,000 feet. Fuel wise, not taking any, I don't want to take too much extra, it's going to be heavy, so I'm going to take 4.3 tons. Weather in Rio is completely fine, it's cloudy, but gentle winds, nothing too out of the ordinary. So we'll take 4.3 tons. Oh, Zebo, I forgot to mention. Even Zebo's rated my landing. He said excellent, 5-star. That's because Alpaca Airways is a 5-star airline. Would fly again. Thank you very much, Zebo. Yes, Zebo's got his way of rating your landing. So if you go to the fuel payload CGOPT, you can see how many stars he's given you. Forgot about that little thing. So 4. What was it now? Oh, 4.3. There we are. So 4.3. Enter. I'm going to leave the payload as it is. 100 passengers. And the zero fuel weight should be the same, as will the CG. So fuel weight, that's done. Ground services and call for the fuel truck. So that is tanking us up quite nicely. We'll now get the FMC loaded with the flight plan. So we always go route 2. Why have I not got the menu there? Dominic Orsini, thank you very much for the donation, $5. Afternoon Captain, and thank you for this live stream. Thank you very much for the donation. Glad you're enjoying the content, and you're most welcome. As you're paid in dollars, I try and stream it this time to get a few more people able on the West Coast to watch it. So all the guys in the North America, South America, support the Australians and Oceania people that struggle here. So I can't get to the ident page. Usually on this page you'd have the ability to get to ident. So menu, FMC, there we go. Oh, I got to it that way. So ident, that's all the same. Pos in it. We are now in Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa. We don't need to align the IRS again. Route page then. Oh, we should have that line selected there anyway. Route 2 isn't modelled, but it'll be quite a nice feature if we get that soon. Going to SBRJ. That is now set. We are now going to be the Alpaca 02. Departure is the 17 right, and it's a Perca to Alpha, and we're doing a Dorlu transition. There we are. From Dorlu, Upper Zulu 37 to Ugrad. And then from Ugrad, it's the Ugrad 1 Bravo. I did make a note of what I want here. So it's Ugrad 1 Bravo, and I think the RNAV I want is the one that takes you to threshold. It's RNAV Whiskey via Gelut. So RNAV Whiskey for runway 20 left. RNAV Whiskey 20 left via Gelut. Oh, no, oh god, all these transitions. There's none here. I won't probably select a star transition. So let's just have a look at that. Make sure it's all stitched to get. Oh no, it's when I can't put numbers in. That means I've got this menu open here. I think. Yes, I can now. I can activate that and execute it, and we'll just make sure that's all stitched up quite nicely. SP021 Morsa. Ogvenim input Kadorlu. Looks about right, and then it takes us straight in onto 20 left. But the idea is this requires a lower RMP. My operator isn't actually authorised to fly these sort of approaches. We can fly RNAV GNSS or RMP approaches to LNAV minima. This is a very accurate RNAV approach. You need a lower RMP. I think only 0.1. But it allows for quite complex approaches to be built. It allows you to put curves in the approaches, and this is where the airline industry is going. You're going to have a lot of these complex approaches. Approaches where you couldn't have... Oh, hold on. What's happened to my views here, guys? One is now my FMC view, apparently. I'll need to fix that. Yeah, you're getting all these complex approaches now being able to be built because of GPS and RNAV, so that's pretty cool. Stuart Walsh, another one of my members, has donated very generously, £12.21. Thank you very much. Congrats on the 40k, well deserved. Palindrome, hashtag, thank you very much for the donation there, Stuart. I'm just trying to sort out my views for some reason. I'm just going to go to the co-pilot view and pan across. There we are. My default captain view is all off. I think let's do something like that. Control 1. I have no idea. Somehow reset that there. But no, thank you very much. Stuart. What's the palindrome reference? I'm missing something there. Thank you very much for the donation. Right, I've reset my view. So, Sid's in. We'll discuss the approach when we get closer. But yeah, RNAV now allows you to build very complex approaches with the accuracy of GPS and stuff. Kicked my cat. You'd love to see a GLS approach. Yes, we do have GLS modelled in the ZIBO mod. We will do a GLS approach. I think Malaga has GLS enabled now, so we can look into doing that. Cool, so that's all set. Let's go up to the upper overhead panel. That's all looking good. Not much to change here. Seatbelt sign would come back on. We put the APU bleed on to get some conditioned air, and I open the isolation valve. That's all set. 27,000 feet for the return, and I think it's sea level, so we'll go 0 here. Oh, it's so sensitive. Oh yeah, performance. I knew I'd forgotten something. Obviously, this is done with both crew members, so reserves. Charts. We get it on page 1, actually, don't we? Reserves are 1.9 tons, and that's to get to the main international airport in Rio, which I will not even attempt to pronounce. 1.9. Cost index 30. 27,000 feet. Or flight level 270. Executed. Top of climb wind at flight level 270 is 290 at 45. I never bother putting the average wind in the simulator. Usually I just put top of climb wind and you can put the average wind on the legs route data page, but it doesn't make much difference in a desktop sim. Ice deviation plus 15 degrees. I think that's slightly off because when we were up there earlier it was only plus 1 degree. Right. Again, no accurate performance data, but because we're very light, we've only got 100 passengers, only 4 tons of fuel. I think 24k full should work. Again, I'd never, ever guess. Like, you never performance calculation and guess, but it works well, I think, with this lightweight. It should be no issue. V-speeds are set. Again, these are all independently checked, cross-checked, triple-checked. Prior to departure, we check them on the taxi out, but the life of a desktop simulator is no problem. Reset the fuel flow, RTO, stop level on the SID. I think was flight level 100. Oh, I haven't selected any of the charts. SBSP, just airport, and the SID, which I've forgotten already, was the Perca 2 Alpha. Oh, now SID, let's see what the first restriction is. Oh, it's definitely not that way. I made a note of this. Perca 2 Alpha, is that what I selected? Perca 2 Alpha. Oh, Porby, whoops. There it is, Perca 2 Alpha. So that is going to be taking us straight ahead, left turn, Morsa. There we go. So 6,000 feet is the first stop altitude, so we'll punch that into the MCP. Right, I think we're all good to go. Ready for push and start. We'll leave the ILS tuned. There's nothing really else to tune. It's an RNAV SID. And we'll get the better pushback organised. We've got the fuel on board, because it was only a couple of sectors ago we forgot to fuel the aircraft on the turnaround. But yeah, we've definitely got what we need, 4.3. And let's get the aircraft pushed back. Pushback is ground services. Might have it from yesterday, actually. Pre-plan. No. So we'll do something like this, and something like that. Enter.
Grounded to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Please call me through the menu when you're ready. Grounded to cockpit,
there you are.
Toga is driving up.
It's our Brazilian friend again. Norman Robinson, greetings from the Bermuda Islands. Fantastic. Oh, we have had someone from Bermuda watch before. I don't know if it was you, though, Norman. I definitely remember saying welcome to Bermuda. We're yet to visit there, of course. Monish Johnson, you'd like me to route Delhi to Leah. I've never heard of that. It's the most difficult landing on the 737. We have the best scenery available for both expert and prepared. I'll have a look at that. I've just noticed I don't have the flight directors on. Again, we would have checked that with our normal
all doors and
taxi
hatches
flow.
are closed, ready to connect.
Gooseboy, my missus asked which airline I fly for. She said Alpaca Airways and she googled it. Banter. FN in, plan on flying a quadjet anything soon? I don't think there's that many decent ones. I know there's a classic 747 coming to the X-Plane 11, which was ported from FSX or is it a Just Flight one? I'm not sure. And someone on Discord, I think it was Finley or someone was sharing was it a DC-9, which I don't know how. I've never even heard of DC-9 on X-Plane 11, but I don't know if that was any good. I've not flown a 4-engine jet, have I, on a stream? I've not flown a turboprop, and I've not done a 4-engine jet.
So is now connected and the bypass pin is secured. Please release parking brake.
Parking brake is released. There goes the air bridge. Carlos Sanger, you're responding to Homie Slicey.
And you may start your engine.
I guess is asking for failures of some sort. Yeah, I don't really plan failures. There's not much point of it, but I might do. Someone suggested it in Discord of doing sort of a type rating session simulator. But what I might do is an engine failure stream, so I plan it. We'll go through the whole failure. I have a tutorial on that which already kind of covers it, but it's quite hard to plan a failure, if you know what I mean. I can already kind of guess what I'd do. But we could perhaps look at an engine failure on stream and go through the correct checklist and procedure. Right. Oh, did I look at this? I'm all over the place. Look, I'm doing things out of sequence. So anti-collision light is on, parking brake is set, transponder out off. That's why we have checks and flows. I don't have to stream to an audience in real life, thankfully. Right, there's N2. Oh, pressure and N1. It was you, Norman. We have just a new airport open in Bermuda in June, July this year. We'd love to see you complete the BA flight here. Wow. Not much but C, but which should be a 2... Well, no, it'll be quite long, won't it? 5 to 6 hours. Yeah, we'll see. But Bermuda will always be a long flight, even from the US. Right, starting engine number... Oh, where am I going? Starting engine number 1. I am all over the place today. There's N2. All pressure, and here comes N1. Try and check that spar valve. Oh, I managed to actually see it today. There we go. Tesco, maybe Kai-Tak approach for the 40k special.
Operation completed. Please set parking brake.
There we go, parking brake set. I need to get some sort of cigarettes. Obviously, Kai-Tak is now. I think it's all been built on, hasn't it? I've already no doubt in Hong Kong, but yeah, I know you can get an add-on. I'll try and find it. I know Kai-Tak would be a good one, I suppose. But I might try a challenging aircraft, perhaps. Felipe, enjoying it, Captain. Doing great as always. The international airport in Rio is Galo. There's no I there. Galo. Thank you. We'll go there if I can't get to Santos Dumont. I haven't got much fuel though for several approaches. Right, he's going to be lowering us now. There we are. Well, not lowering it, closing his clamp thing. Airport. There we are. So,
Door is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on your left, sir. See you next time and have a safe flight.
Boa tarde. Bon dia. No, bon dia is good morning, boa tarde is good afternoon. Oh, embarrassing. Right, there he is again. He must have travelled on another flight. He sounded just like the guy that pushed me back in Rio. He's probably on board. Galeo. Sounds like the Jello in Norway. Galeo. Thanks, guys. Right, there we go. Good. We could do the normal before taxi flow for this sector. Right, generators on. Now we can turn the APU off. Start switches continuous. Probe heat on. Anti-ice off. Air conditioning packs auto. Isolation valve auto. APU bleed is off. That's all set. Flaps 5 for departure. Flight controls. Forward. Back. Left. Centre. Right. Centre. And the rudders. Full right centre. Oh, need to move them because my desk's in the way. There we go. Full left centre. Recall like the lower DU. There we are. The before taxi checklist is complete. Right, taxi then. I'll show you here visually. I'm going to go all the way up here. Don't taxi off the cliff and then full length departure for 17 right. So we'll release the parking brake config check. There we go. No takeoff config warning horn. Let's go back to Santos Dumont. Oh, thank you very much, Anthony. I just spotted that before the notification. $20. Very generous indeed. No bet, sir. Tim F wanted -124.
50.
But I'll give you
40,
-200.
30,
Congrats on the 40k. Both of them
10.
incredibly low targets for such a short runway. Thank you very much, Anthony. You might be getting your $20 back very quickly. Thank you very much. Yeah, I practiced approach once. And it said wasted. I think it was -600, but I just didn't flare. I just carried on with the descent. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, bang. And I'll tell you what, there is one time I've actually landed like that, and that was on purpose. I was flying into an airport which I won't disclose because it'll give away my operator, but it was -10 and the runway was contaminated with snow. Braking action was medium, And you've got to get it on the deck. It wasn't quite as hard as that, but you've got to get those wheels on the ground, ground spoilers up, reverse thrust selected to ensure you stop in time. This is a different reason. This is because the runway's flipping short, but it's in certain instances it is very important to do a positive landing. You know, get yourself well within that touchdown zone, right at the aiming point at 300 meters, and stop. Especially when you're performance limited. On that day we weren't. We had plenty of runway because it was a long runway, but you never know a contaminated runway. It could differ from other reported braking actions, so you just want to get it stopped. There's my excuse lined up. I could just say that I've contaminated the runway in Santos Dumont and go from there. Right, so we're already at the hold point. Fret here is a parallel hold point, so they're not always at 90 degrees. You've got to make sure you stop here. And I'm definitely going to set the parking brake, because if I don't look where I'm going, I'm going to go straight down the cliff, and that will be the first for a Flight Deck Sim live stream. But we'll now do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked. Flaps we have 5 green lights. Stab trim is set for departure. We never set it. Oops. So CG, that's why we have checks. We'll just get that set. I think it'll be around the same anyway. So configuration, no, where is it? I keep forgetting. Oh, right, it's steering right face, fuel weight and balance, performance takeoff. No, where is it? Zebo payload, there it is, 17.6. 17.6. Now, my operator, we independently do this. We have a checklist prior to engine start to make sure we've checked it. We then check it on the before taxi flow. We actually check it like 4 times to make sure it's set, so it's very difficult to forget. But we've now got it set. There we go. Look, 5.75. So it would have been quite heavy if you'd forgotten to set that. But the stab trim is now set. Takeoff briefing. Packs are auto. Bleeds are on. The V speeds are set for departure. 26, 27, 36 is set on the MCP. The departure for runway 17 right is the Perker 2 Alpha, climbing straight ahead to SP021. I'm going to make a right turn. Oh my god, making sure we go the right direction, but we check this at the SID. Left turn, Morsa 6,000 feet, stop altitude, keep going eastbound towards Perker. NADP 2, actually let's go NADP 1 here, because it's going to be quite noise sensitive with all the buildings around, but I have no idea what it is. And that's it. Cabin, we'll imagine, is secure. Checks are complete. We'll imagine we've got our takeoff clearance. Let's have a look at the latest wind here in São Paulo. It is 190.11 knots, looking good. So put all these lights on. I forgot to turn on the turn off and taxi lights as well. I always make mistakes on these second sectors. Oh, they get very tiring. It gets very tiring. Oh, I never want to throttle. Weather radar. Transponder to TARA. So MCP is set. Transponder set. Strobes, landing lights are on. Weather radar's on. There we are. Checks complete. Right, let's go. Paul Shoesmith landing. Altitude set to 0. Yes, that's because I think it is sea level in Santos Dumont. Look at this. Look. Not very flat here, is it? Up we go. Let's not overshoot this turn. Yeah, a long way down. Ooh, what does that say? In Fralero. Very cool. Well, let's go off in this direction. Let's see if we can line up any better than we did earlier. That was a terrible lineup in Santos Dumont.
On runway 17 right.
Right, look at the hill on that too. It's like an aircraft carrier. Very good. Thank you very much. Right, let me get my timer on here before I forget. Timer is set, and I think we're all good to go. Let me just get this. My view's all reset. I don't like where it is. There we go. Let's do something like that. Right, let's get on our way to Santos Dumont. So first lever's up to 40%. And here comes Toga. Set takeoff thrust 96.3. Light forward pressure on the control column. There we are. Takeoff thrust set indications are normal.
80 knots.
That's checked. Release the forward pressure. A little bit of left rudder coming in to maintain centre line.
V1 rotate.
That works out quite well. Full 24k, and up we go.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up, and onto the flight directors. Lovely.
1,000.
That's 1,000 feet. We're going to keep climbing until we are at 5,600 feet. And we're going to fly an ATP-1 departure. That's the thrust reduction at 1,500. And we'll imagine we've got continuous climb as well, because I don't want to level off at 6,000. We'll go up to flight level 100. Try to trim and fly. This is not easy. And we'll need to out-intervent the restriction, which will be done by the pilot monitoring, because I'm flying. And there's 5,600 feet, so we can now bug up. Gently lower the nose. Here's the left turn to Mosra. Flaps to 1. Set standard. I am coming. Zebo, flaps up. And we would have set standard as soon as we got to 3,000 feet AGL, so standard set. I'm pitching up to maintain the upspeed initially. And trimming, right, there we go, that'll do. So get the autopilot in. Flaps are up, so V now standard set, and we'll go straight up to our cruise level, flight level 270. And we can now do the after takeoff checklist. Gear to off, water brake to off, start switches to off, air conditioning and pressurization, diffs 2.2, cabin altitude increasing, rest is set, release the cabin crew. There we are. Excuse me, checks, after takeoff checklist is all complete. Excuse me guys, as I was just coughing my brains out. Cool. Right, let's match the heading. Overshot the turn slightly, but that's because I told it to accelerate 250 knots passing the waypoint. It's tidying itself up there. Very, look at that for a cruise, look. It's barely 40 miles. I think we'll have to set up during the climb. We'll get up to around 15,000 feet, we'll get everything start everything set up. Very short flights. When I do 2 sectors, I try and do kind of like an hour and 15, hour and a half. This is a very short, intensive stream today. Josh, hello Flight Data Sib, did you just take off? Yes, 3 minutes ago. We're now on our way back to Santos Dumont in Rio. It's Josh, coronavirus cough, I hope not. Right, let's do the pre-cruise checks, passing 107,270. Lights. Fuel's good, lights are good, APU's off, pressurization 3.8 psi set. Release passengers recall, monitoring 1 to 1.5, checks complete. Stian and Lardson, when do you use the wing and logo lights? The wing lights at my operator we use when generally checking the wings for icing at night in flight. You can also use it for a walk around at night time as well, but they're quite bright. The logo light is just below 10,000 feet at night time, just to increase visibility on the ground primarily. But no point turning on during the day, you won't see anything. Praveen, do you think Microsoft Flights in 2020 will have a study level 737? I know they'll have a default one, and I know PMDG are making one for Microsoft Flights in 2020, so there will be something available which is of good quality. You never know, my Zebo might jump ship. We'll have to wait and see what he does. When landing on runway 02, you cannot use ILS. The Sugarloaf Mountain is right in the way. At the runway, you need either circle to land or any other turn. Yeah, we'll be doing the RNAV approach on the other direction today because the wind is favouring runway 20 left. But I don't think there's any ILS here due to the terrain. There's a lot of constraints and with the routing there. Obviously, there's Rio's main international airport, so a lot of the restrictions are based on airspace. Cool, so what I'm actually going to do, guys, is start getting things ready, because it's going to be a super short flight, this one. Let's go back to SBRJ back to Santos Dumont and get some charts up. The arrival is going to be the Grad 1 Bravo. There we are. We're going to go to Gelut, that's what we want, and then from Gelut we're going to have the approach on Whiskey, which was actually requested by someone who messaged me on Instagram. On Whiskey, runway 20 left. Now this is actually the easiest approach to do because it sort of gets you straight to the runway. As I said, my operator isn't approved for this arrival because we have these kind of radius fix turns using, you know, LNAV, and the RMP required is quite low. It's 0.1. For an aircraft to be approved to do this, you need authorization, equipment to make sure your navigation is more accurate. I mean, it is incredibly accurate on all aircraft, but my operator, we can only fly RNAV approaches to kind of like a straight in, but they are coming curved approaches, a lot more common, because it allows, well, they can build any approach they want now, whereas airports were restricted for circle to land, or they couldn't build an ILS. They could just build approaches however they like, bend them around terrain, bend them around airspace, and essentially you use LNAV, VNAV. They're even making circle to land approaches now, so you can actually fly downwind to final all the way using the automation and just disconnect at 200 feet. But that's the way the industry's going. GPS is now accurate with all the other systems on board the FMC to be able to confirm its position. So yeah, we'll be flying that one. There is an RNAV GNS approach with a visual prescribed track, so sort of similar to what we fly into Innsbruck when we stream there. So it gets you to a position. They have to use circling minima because it's more than 30 degrees offset from the final approach track, and then you self-position onto final. It's essentially the same as this, but the minimum's here, and then you have to hand fly. But I'm going to be doing that anyway, so I'll just basically follow this approach and then fly that there. But there is an approach which my operator would be approved to fly, which takes you here and then disconnect. It's just that you can't do that final turn with special air authorization on approaches. Cool. So courses are set. 199. 199. Just for reference, really. Minimums are 306. No, the minimums get so low now on RNAV approaches, nearly as low as Cat 1 ILS. .306. That's about it, really. That's the beauty of an RNAV approach. I want to detune the VOR frequency so I don't pick up anything else. I went Patol 415, and I put that active. It's on standby, and I'm actually going to detune the ILS. I'm going to put just this random VOR here because we're not using any nav aids for this approach, and I wouldn't usually, but I'm going to turn this off on this one so I don't get any nuisance DME indications or idents or needles pointing where they shouldn't be. Cool. So we'll brief it all as soon as we get to top of climb. It's all set up pretty much. Just do the FMC. Excuse me. Maybe I'm getting coronavirus. No. Tab charts. Yeah. Let's just get the FMC loaded. Uh, 307 and 14. There's not much point doing it. There's hardly any wind.
1,000 to go.
Check. So hopefully the first officer will reduce my rate of climb and smoothly level off. It's pilot flying. You wouldn't be heads down at this stage, especially last 1,000 feet to any cleared altitude. You want to be making sure it's doing what it should be doing. QNH is 1014, very close to standard. 25, let's just go again, can't be too far off, 7 degrees. Cool, fixed rings in then, so runway 20 left, fixed rings, again, this is just to increase situation awareness, but this RNAV procedure will take us straight to around a 1 mile final. What are we at? We're at 27,000 feet, 27 times 3 is 81, and that's roughly 3 times. That is 3 times our height, so you can see, look, the top of descent corresponds roughly from where we should be. Right, so I'll give you a brief. We've loaded the FMC correctly. We've got airport charts, so routing in via VUREP. You see we're already there, look. Love that. VUREP, Todop, Ugrad. Imdab, VUREP, Ugrad. Right, we've got some other points there. NM270, I haven't got that. VUREP to Todop. Ooh, we're missing some points. Imdab, VUREP. I don't have Imdab on here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just for the sake of it. I'd imagine 80's going to... Okay, Alpaca 02. After VUREP, route direct to Ugrad. Please be level at 7,000 feet. That makes it so much easier. We said after whatever it was. We don't have VUREP there, so let's just go Dorlu. Let's say after Dorlu, route direct to Ugrad. It's the same line. It just tidies it up. There we are. I will imagine we've been told to ignore that restriction because it's just, I don't know why it's not coded for some reason. After Ugrad, direct to Gelut. There's Gelut, and then we're on to the approach at above 6,000. That checks in the FMC. So you want to carefully make sure all these points match what we have in the FMC. So Gelut 6,000, that checks. Mandatory 4,800 at RJ931, that checks. RJ031 3,500, that's not mandatory, so we'll leave it at or above for a CDA. 072, it says it's saying at or above 2,500. RJ904 max 140. Now it's really important that you comply with these speeds, because if you don't, you might overshoot your RMP. Now, well, sorry, your RMP stays the same, but at my operator, your cross-track error, that's your distance from the magenta line, which you can find here, that cannot exceed half of the RMP. So if you imagine the RMP on this approach is 0.1, the cross-track error cannot exceed 0.05. You can already see it's 0.03. So if you are not flying the correct speeds, you'll overshoot that line. And then if my operator, if your cross-track error exceeds half the RMP, you have to fly missed approach. And the minimum, it takes you all the way to this point here. It gets you very close to the runway. So make sure you comply with those speeds. But anyway, I'll be disconnecting from here, flying it visually anyway, so it doesn't make much difference. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, Todd up transition, that's why I wasn't getting the arrivals. Not to worry, I'll just route direct to the same waypoint. It's going to do the same thing. But yeah, I remember not selecting one of the transitions. Now, here's the elephant in the room. Alright, let's get the airport chart out. So, landing distance. Well, the runway length is 1323. But the actual landing distance available is going to be less than that. Where is that going to be? Airport info. I've not even looked at this. I mean, we don't even get any distance. Usable lengths blank. Interesting. Takeoff minimums. IFR takeoff. Well, it doesn't even give us a usable length. Usually it's about 300 meters less. So we need about 1,100 meters to stop here. Now, I will, out of curiosity, use the ZIBO MOD performance calculator to see what it says as we just initiate our descent. What's our first restriction? Flight level 70. Let's get that in. It's going to be an auto-brake max, I can tell you that. Let's see what Zebo says. And this is based off the real performance calculator. It is very accurate. To the NG, we could do with the short field performance package really today. Right, let's have a look here. Performance landing, SBRJ. And it's runway 20 left. Dry. It's not raining, so that's good. Surface wind 210 at 10. That's good. Temperature 23. It's 25. That's not good. The harder it is, the worse the performance. QNH 1014. Flat 40 auto and landing weight then. Fuel 2.4, going to burn 700 kilos, so landing is going to be 53.9. Flat 40. 53.9. Let's see what it says. Oh, fine. Landing distance of 1,200 meters. So you do max manual braking, you stop there. Max auto, you should stop there. Before the end of the runway, no problem. Out of curiosity, if the runway's wet, let's have a look. It's factored as well. Both reverses as well. It doesn't work. Max manual, 100 meters over. Christ. So yeah, even with max second detent reverse, this is factored by 15%, which you must use. It ain't gonna work. So I don't know how Gold do it. I mean, I'm very light. I'm not in a short field performance aircraft. That will probably give you an extra 150 meters stopping performance, roughly. Whether they reduce the air distance, I don't know. This is just presumed as 308 meters. They could probably reduce that. It's tight. I mean, I would not be. I mean, this is like, if you see this, you ever do a performance calculation, you get that. That's it. You're stuffed. You can't land. But remember, this is wet. We are dry. And yeah, we should be fine. Obviously, going to set max auto, but it works. It's legal. Let's have a go. Boy, oh boy, these guys do this routinely. But obviously, if you do it every day, you probably get used to it. Right. Performance discussed. It should be okay. If it starts raining, it doesn't. But I don't know how accurately X-Plane 11 models braking action on a wet runway. But big fat disclaimer: if it does start raining, I will attempt to land in Santos Dumont regardless. If it was real life, I 100% would not be attempting to land in Santos Dumont. But that's it. Pilot Mike, you said it perfectly. Hold my beer. That's it. So that's all discussed, really. Radius to fix. Actually, out of curiosity, Pilot Mike, you can tell me later, do you have approval at your operator to fly these approaches, radius to fix? We don't. We can only do RNAV straight in. Our RMP is 0.3, so we can't do any of these radius to fix turns to final. The approach we'd have to do is, there is another one with a visual prescribed track, but we'd again have special approval, special guidance on how to fly that. Oh, Zebo seems to be struggling to maintain his target speed here. But that's it. I think we're happy with everything. We know what we're going to do. Let's see what happens. Oh, I need a break. I wish this flight was an extra hour. I have the main international airport Rio to divert to if it starts raining at Santos Dumont. That's actually a good point. If it does rain there, I'm guessing they could still operate normally, because it rains quite a lot in Brazil. I believe. Ooh, lovely ortho there. Nevada Rocks, I was trying to use the offset function in the FMC. I'm guessing you in the Zebo mod. Yeah, I've had problems with that in the past. I haven't tested it recently, and as we're on the start, I don't really have time today. But every time I've tried to use it, it hasn't quite worked as I'd expected to. Let's do a little fly past, first of the day. Ooh, I'm nervous, guys. This could get interesting. Yeah, see the target speed just creeping slightly down. Superb stuff. So yes, I forgot to select the transition, which is why none of these waypoints are here. But yeah, we'll imagine ATC just clear straight to upgrade level at 70, and then we're very happy. Cool. Guys, don't forget to thumbs up the video as well. I need to keep reminding myself to do that, but I don't even know how many likes we are at, because when I stream I have the live streaming overlay there. But don't forget to smash the thumbs up button if you are enjoying the content, and thank you very much if you did subscribe today, as to all my other fellow subscribers, because we did surpass 40,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I think that was the quickest we reached over 10,000. 442 likes, that's not bad, with 492 people watching. I'm sure it could be higher. Zakira Aziz, what sim is this? Thank you, Aviri, for answering the question. Is X-Plane 11. X-Plane 11. There we go. The mod's doing not too bad a job holding the target speed. It's just creeping slightly low. You have that issue in the real aircraft sometimes. Alan Hughes, you're pulling your seatbelt tight. Actually, that's a point. If we do go around 2.5, we needed 2 tons. I could do a second approach, but if we have to go around the second time, it'll be pretty tight for Rio. I could give myself direct routing, but yeah, it's we needed 2 tons, I think it was. We got 500, so that's an extra 10 minutes. The full missed approach, I'd probably struggle to do a second approach. Better nail it first time then. David Bassett, is the descent rate minus 2,000? It is, but that isn't what the aircraft's maintaining. It's maintaining an idle path descent just following this, so the rate of descent can fluctuate slightly, especially if we're decelerating or accelerating. Menendez, after the final approach checks, you have to turn off the autopilot. Is that a mandatory thing, or are you telling me I have to do that? I will on base leg, but it is very difficult in a desktop simulator to kind of hand fly when you're trying to look out the window on the side. It's very difficult. I'll at least get fully configured. Coxon, go. Will you do more flights to Brazil? No doubt, I will. I get bombarded with requests, and I try and prioritise the guys on Discord. So, for example, for this stream, what I did, I went on the destination request, scrolled up, and this one was requested not so long ago. So I jumped on and said, I'll do this stream. This one will be fun. And I always wanted to do Santos Dumont anyway. Anthony Teal, Captain, long time listener, first time call it. Do you have a parachute to slow us down? I tell you what, I could do with a couple. Well, Andrew, you better try with an anchor. Might reduce landing distance required. Yeah, and a lot of damage to the runway. Yeah, runway inspection required. Love it. Love it. Dougal, track are great for these approaches. Now, I did think about this, Dougal, but I don't know how that would be for you, because I have to move my head, and when I look at the chat to see you guys, my laptop is on the side here. I have to really, cock my head over, which won't be quite good for you guys watching, so I kind of avoided it really. But when I get to my moving home, as you well know, in a few weeks' time, I will hopefully have 2 monitors, so I'll look at some options there. Fergus Duffy, thank you very much for the €10. He says, no bother to you to land her. I'm chilling back here with my whiskey. Thank you very much, Fergus. I hope you're drinking and wishing me luck. He put too much faith in me, but thank you very much for the donation. Tom also simultaneously donating 20 Norwegian kroner. Some have maximum 2 go-rounds, then divert. Do yours? Yes, my operator Tom. You can go around as many times as you want, but after the second missed approach, whatever reason we went around for, if it's weather related, for example, it was visibility related, and we went around on the second approach, the visibility needs to double for us to do it. If we enter around due to the wind has to halve, so you have to have a significant improvement to fly that third approach, otherwise we do go around. Now, obviously, if you fly the third approach and then have to go around, you're not committed to landing. All approaches are flown to go-arounds, and that's the main thing to remember. And we always say a landing is a bonus, so always be go-around minded regardless of that. I had a friend of mine who flew 3 missed approaches once. The first 2 were due to weather, and the weather genuinely did improve. And on the third approach, you had to go around because the aircraft was broken on the runway, so I had to go around for the third time. But he had shed loads of fuel, wasn't an issue. But yeah, he had to fly a third missed approach. Cool. So approaching the decel for 240 knots below 100, routing nicely towards Ugrad. And we're going to step down with the descent. When do we want to set our minimums? That's a point. We've got initial fix here. So when we're 2 miles before RJ072, I'm going to set our final altitude. Just making a note of that. And what I mean by that is when we're 2 miles before this point, I want to set the MCP altitude to the minimums plus 100 feet, so set 400 feet. Otherwise the aircraft will level off. NJTV, does the real 737-800 have a tablet? Well, yes, many operators now, including mine, we have iPads, and they clip on very much, as you can see here. We use it for everything. All the manuals are stored on there. All of the apps, the performance calculator, it's all done through a tablet these days. Some airlines have laptops or whatever. Excellent work, Zebo. There we are, nailing flight level 100 at 240 knots, so really nice to decel. Let's do the post-cruise checks again. Fuel's good. We have just over 3 tons. Lights, logo not required, APs off, pressurization set, seatbelts on, recall. Into the guff we go. Post-cruise checks are complete. There's a grad. Imagine we're going to be clear to 6,000 now. Direct to Gellert, so we're going to stick in. Actually, you know what? Look, that's how many miles? Yeah, look, we're 50 miles away. Oh, sorry guys about this. 40 miles away, so we'll ideally be at 12,000 feet. So we have this restriction. We'll level off at 7.0. Look, we actually have a level segment for about 20 miles or so. So we'll maintain 7.0 for a short while. Russell Spears, float, 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 landing long. I cannot afford that today. Don't even get your landing rates in. Like, I will be happy if it's less than 400. I'm not even joking. I think, I'm guessing, prior to operating to this airport, you'd have to have special sim training as well. You couldn't just be rostered to fly this at your operator. Sandeep says, float it into the water, please. Negative.
1,000 to go.
Checked. That's fine. We're going to level off at 7.0 for a short while. It is cloudy everywhere today. I don't think I've seen much of my Ortho. I spent a whole day installing and downloading. That was a waste of time. Oh well. What's that through the cloud? I can see. It's gone back to default now. Again, that's because of the mesh or the file I have. Philippe, it is captain only, and you do have to complete special training. Yes, I would be surprised if you hadn't. That's my excuse. Mika Bayan Flyded, have you ever flown with a lady captain? Yes, when I was an FO, I've flown with a few female captains, and as captain, I've flown with a couple of female first officers. They do exist. There should be a whole darn more of, I'd say. David Basso, what is the maximum landing rate a 737 can withstand? Good question, David. I mean, we rate it in G-forces. I should think any landing rate in excess of 500-600 is going to require some sort of inspection afterwards. But I've seen cases of aircraft landing with well in excess of that, and the aircraft's been okay, 800-900 feet per minute. But it's, yeah, any more than that, you're going to damage something. They're built like brick houses. They can take quite a lot of punishment. Some questions just don't need to be answered, guys. Thanks, Stuart. Right, approaching top of the set point for this approach then. Next restriction is going to be Gellert 6,000, so we'll punch in 6,000 feet here. And we'll set the local QNH, which it's very important when using VNAV that you have the correct QNH set, and that is 1014. So that is set. Push out into vent just to start a gentle 1,000 feet per minute descent rate. And these restrictions are obviously due to terrain. And we'll get rid of that chart because after Gellert we will be on the approach. That's not to scale, so we won't get the airplane on there. And then we can go down to 4,800. Why are we getting this glide slope information? I don't want that. Off.
$1,000 to go.
Checked. And then when we're 1 mile from Gellert, we can just keep stepping down to 4,800 next. Jack Luger, crash the plane. Negative. This is not your sort of stream, I'm afraid. Right, now we go to 4,800 to be at RJ931. That's a mandatory restriction. So at this point here, RJ072 will go down to 2,500. 2 miles before that, I'm going to set the minimums plus 100 feet. Ooh, it's tense, isn't it? Look at this, look, we're coming in straight in here. I mean, we could roughly select flap 1. Oh, hello. You come in literally the worst possible time.
Yeah, Jack came
1,000
here
to
to
go.
land.
Jack's gonna help me to land. Oh dear. Hello, Jack. Jack's in here. Oh, thanks for the kisses. Thank you very much.
Straight to the Alpaca
Right, go
dogs.
down 4,800. We can step down to 3,500. This is the ultimate distraction. Single pilot. 24 degrees. Newbie check, thank you very much for the dog emojis. Literally about to fly one of the hardest approaches in the world. And I'm about to probably go for a swim. Hello Jack. Tesla, the guy says Jack is a good boy. He's a very good boy. He's a very good boy. He's licking everywhere.
Licking everyone.
Right, there's the mandatory restriction at 4,800. Just about, yeah, we nailed it actually. Down to 3,500, which we have set. I can now think about slowing down, so we'll select flap 1 and match the speed. Perfect.
Come on, Jack, it's sterile flight deck time.
Thanks for the banter. I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Alright, flat 1. Oh, what a distractions. Thanks, guys. Tesco, my own Labrador Frankie is a good boy as well. Oh, yeah, Jack's a very good boy. He's very good. So, flap 1 selected. Go down to 3,500 feet. We can step down. We're now well onto the approach here. So, very much sterile cockpit in reality. Of course, below 10,000 feet.
1,000 to go.
Checked. We can now, 1 mile before that, we can go down to our next constraint, 2,500. And then when we're 2 miles before this point, we're going to select the minimums. Drag required. Well, let's help us slow down, because we will need to for the approach by going flap 5. Because we do have speed restrictions to comply with on the final turn. There we are, now inbound to RJ072. What is the missed approach? Kind of 5,500. It's taking us very far away from the airport. I don't want to do that. Not with this fuel. Good. Right, there's 2 miles before, so we're approaching our descent point. We can now set 400 feet. I'll ensure that we continue our descent. VNAV path speed window is open. Nicely slowing down to our flat 5 speed. I hope we're going to be visual. We can have a very low cloud base. Look at that, the minimum. RMP of 0.1, so we'd be monitoring this page here. Making sure the cross-check area doesn't go past 0.05, but the RMP is fine. And that's done by pilot monitoring. Sorry, pilot flying has it there, but he's the one making sure everything is correctly set. So coming out the cloud. There's the bridge, and there is it downtown Sao Paulo? Downtown Rio, not sure of the area. There's Sugarloaf. We're on our way in. We'll shortly configure our gear down and flaps. RJ073, then 904 point max 140. We'll make sure we have flat 40 configured prior to that point with our final approach speed set. Mariana with the banter. Guys, keep praising me, please. Hashtag I am great. Hashtag Alpaca girlfriend. Unbelievable. She's spamming. She's a moderator herself, so you can't get booted out. Right, I think it's a good time now to configure. Gear down, flap 15, match speed, landing checklist to flaps. Start switch is continuous. Recall checked, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, order brake, max is set. Holding on flat 40. We can delay that slightly. Get a little bit closer. Where is this goddamn short runway? Is that the threshold there? Yeah, there it is. Ugh. So there's the next constraint, 1764. Should keep descending here. And then just prior to that, RJ904, well, select flat 40, make sure we've got our speed below 140, get the aircraft turning, then I'll disconnect the automation and hand fly it in. Right, I need to get myself in a decent seating position. I'm taking my eyes to the chat. Minus 350, 3.5G. Ah, dear. Mariana, oh, you cheeky git. David Larson, thanks for the inappropriate donation and timing. Thank you very much for the 100 Norwegian kroner. Never mind, we kept to take it down like a gentleman. Thank you very much. Ah, right, I must take my head away now. Right, there's the landing flap 40. 140 knots or less, that's to make sure we can do the turn. There we go, flaps 40. Checks complete. Right, where is that goddamn runway? Okay, there it is. It's the left-hand runway, remember, 20 left. Don't try and land on the other one, otherwise you'll be completely screwed. I'll tell you what, let's have a... Oh, you know what? Oh, I might regret that. Disconnecting. Let's turn around, follow the flight directors. That will guide us, hopefully. Oh, I hate this in a desktop sim. It's so hard. Speed's a bit low, so just adding a bit of thrust there. So, honestly, this is more difficult flying the real aircraft. Doing this sort of turn. So pitch power, about 62%. That's not too far off what we want. I'm really using. Oh, I forgot to set the missed approach altitude. 5,500 feet out to quiet. So ignore the flight directors now. That's my fault. That's what you want to do there. I see 3 whites. That's okay. I just pitch down ever so slightly. Ignore the flight directors, and I'm actually going to turn that off. Oh, keep
approaching 20 right.
Yes, 20 left.
Approaching
Thank
runways.
you. Oh, can't make its mind up.
Approaching 20
Right, there's the minimums. We're
left.
nicely on final. Slight crosswind from the left. We're looking okay here.
Minimums.
Continue. Keep it descending. If I go 3 reds, I'm not going to complain either. Look at this is concentration for me. Keep it going down.
50, 40,
Fine.
30.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
All the attitude. Get it in that touchdown zone. Oh no, I don't want to flare. Oh, 1:70, even better than the flipping Sao Paulo. Right, speed brakes up. Oh wow. 100 knots.
80 knots.
80 knots. Oh, look at that. No problem. We can take off again. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rio. Ah, the butter streak continues. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it. Absolutely wonderful. I can't believe it. Buttered. Ah, we survive another day. Oh, I cannot believe it. Fantastic. Welcome to Rio, guys. Shortest runway I think we'll ever land on in a NG. Superb. Absolutely superb. So happy with that. Butter and on the touchdown zone. I thought we were going to float that out for a second. But I came a little bit low over the threshold. Maybe a little lower than I should. But 3 reds. Okay. Not ideal. Going to be 2 reds, 2 whites. But you don't mess around on a runway like this. Right. Let's get this aircraft all tidied up. These should be on. Very short taxi onto stand. Auto brake to off. Transponder to out off. Weather radar is off. Trim I'm going to reset, but I'm not going to bother because it's the last flight. We'd obviously set that in reality. All these little disclaimers coming. Pro can come off as well. And we'll find ourselves a nice little air bridge to park ourselves on.
50, 40.
Thank you very much to firstly David Larson. I did say thanks, take her down like a gentleman. We did very well there. There be Dragons also, who's donated in the past. Well, thank you very much again. $10. Nicely done, Captain. Thank you very much indeed, guys, for that. Most welcome. Yeah, fluke, I guess that. We did absolutely butter it in. No problem at all. I think even if it was wet we would have done it, but that is a factor distance. But yeah, you can see the max auto brake. The braking on this mod now is really nice. It's sort of with the max auto brake is very abrupt in the real aircraft. I've done it a few times, but I often have to disengage it because it's stopping so quickly. But it does the trick. Let's go for stand 6 then. Actually, you know what? Let's go on the end of the stand here so we can see the Brazilian flag flying. Because I know that's right in the corner there. Oh, good. And we'll make a left turn onto stand. Ooh, I need my mouse. Oh, we've got one of those A things for the air bridge. Oh, crikey, it's like already extended, so I hope it'll meet up with the aircraft afterwards. Yeah, it's a bit. That's my fault. There's so much lag in the tiller sometimes on the mod. There's a bit too much thrust as well. There we go. I can't even see the countdown timer for the... well, there isn't one. Alright, we'll have to try and guess when to stop. Well, let's just use the air bridge and stop there. Not the air bridge, the air stairs, because that isn't joining at all. Right, parking brake is set. 2 blues now, 1 red, engine's dead. There we are, let's shut her down. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, welcome to Rio Santos Dumont. Local time is 4:40 in the afternoon, and another safe flight. We made it in. Excellent, excellent job. Right, so isolation valve open, usually turn the AP bleed on as well. Anti-collision light can come off, and push scorer on. There we are. Checks all complete. We've made it safely. We'd use the air bridge, but I'm not going to extend it because not the air bridge, the air stairs, because I want to do a replay anyway of that buttery insane landing. Very, very nice indeed, and I think that was a fantastic first flight to do in Brazil. I'm really happy I did those 2 sectors. The infamous Rio de Janeiro-São Paulo air bridge has been completed successfully. Let's have a look at the banter and the chat in the landing. If I'd smashed it down, I would have plenty there. People said, have faith. Thank you very much. Butter the bread. Awesome skipper, said Dougal. Thank you very much. Avery, Alui, you did say 80. I think it was around that, wasn't it? All that garlic bread on my butter, said Mikai. Nailed the sucker. Easy. Tesla guy went, you what, mate? Usually M and 8. Classic. Flamingos are singing. That was sick. Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, guys, and for your donations today. Fantastic stuff. Right, now let's have a look at the replay and landing and call that a day. Very, very nice indeed. Right, there we go. 2 hours 36. Well done, X-Plane 11, for another stable performance. Maybe I've said that too early. Right, let's go from that point there so we can watch the turn round onto final. That was very satisfying. Pedro, what a landing. Oh my god, he says. Very nice. Thank you very much. It was. We're on a good streak at the moment. I think we've had many butters. Last live stream was a -40. We've got a couple of less than -100s in this stream today. That's very, very good. Tesla guy asking if my partner saw a landing. She knows I butter in real life, so no problem. Congratulations to Young Runner and CrossFit. Thank you very much. Right. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I think we're on the threshold of the other runway. There we are. So here we come. That's a little bit lower, typically 50 feet over the threshold, but I'm not going to complain that we're already 30 feet over the threshold today. Oh, lovely jubbly. Came over very shallow at the threshold though. Happy days. Let's do another one from about there. I was very happy with that. Yeah, a little bit low perhaps, but right on the money. And I think that's the latest touchdown point there. So you can see, look, we stopped so quickly. The stopping performance was completely awesome there. Let's do one more from the tower. An oil rig there. Ooh, fun. Not sure that's there in real life. Oh, very satisfying. Very, very good. Awesome stuff, guys. So what I'll do, I'll leave you with a lovely wing view for the closing replay, and we'll call that a day on this live stream. Firstly, guys, thank you very much to everyone that donated. Again, continued generosity is very much appreciated, especially from the members, and very much special thanks to QA Pilot as well. Please go and watch his channel. I know he's not making content at the moment, but he's worthwhile to subscribe. He's very generous $50 donation earlier. Thank you very much to everyone that subscribed. 40,000 subscribers. I cannot believe it. It has grown quite quickly, this channel, in the last year, especially as we're doing live streams a lot more frequently whilst I take some time off work, but that will be slowing down a bit in a few weeks' time, but I will try and continue to do weekly live streams. Do me a massive favour, don't forget to thumbs up this video. I think we've surpassed over 500 subscribers, so 500 likes today, which is always good, nice to get as many as possible. And that's it. Again, thank you for your continued support. 40,000, big number. And yeah, that's, I don't know what else to say. I'm very grateful for all of you for the recognition for the work I've done on the channel, and all the members, and especially you're most very welcome, as I say to all of you. Awesome stuff, guys. Next stream, it won't be next weekend because I do have a stag do to go to, but maybe something a few days before. I'll keep you posted where I can. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all very soon. How do we say in Portuguese? Boa noite, boa tarde, boa noite. Take care, guys. See you soon.